Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Film Crack with myself, Ra Rasputum, and himself.
Clive.
Yeah. So you may remember from the last episode, we did a tribute to the late, great Nakadai Tatsuya. And I think in that episode, we mentioned that we had also gotten the bad news in the same week or so that Udo Kier. Um, what can we say about Udo?
I mean, to know life, nutto, you must fuck death in the gallbladder.
Yes, yes, indeed. Um, I've poured out a glass of virgin blood
Mm.
for the great man. So I asked Clive, Clive being more capable of kind of doing a deep dive into somebody's career, to choose some films that meet the remit of our show, right? So films that are um, harder to see, possibly not subtitled, lost to the ether of time. So what we watched
Well,
is
well, just to qualify that as well, I mean, we probably should say, yes, we could have, there would have been nothing wrong with doing Blood for Dracula and Flesh for Frankenstein, for example, because they are, you know,
Cult.
if you really want to know, Yoda, you should definitely watch those. We've already
Yes.
done them on the show anyway, but
Yeah.
what else? I mean,
Well, so the list that you gave me was this. It was Blade, Supertramp's You Win, I Lose music video, Barbed Wire, the Goo Goo Dolls naked video, Johnny Mnemonic, that one episode of Sequest DSV that he's in, and Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. So
oh
those are the
God.
ones I have watched.
I'd
Uh,
forgotten he was in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, but I suppose we all got to eat, right? Um, but
um,
no, but if you were, and then what else would be on your essential Udo watch? I mean, Spermula is another one we've done
yes.
on the show. I mean, there's a film I really like from the early 2000s called Possession, where he plays like an exorcist,
Yep.
and he's in. Well, he's in. He, I
Well,
mean,
he's in
there's
200 and something,
yeah.
276 credits at the IMDb
There's the
from
Lars von Trier
60s.
films. Some people would know him from My Own Private Idaho.
Yes, of course,
I
yes.
mean, he's just everywhere.
Well, I was reading somebody had written about him, and they were saying that, like, in a way it's hard to imagine somebody so effortlessly straddling the worlds of like pure exploitation, art house cinema, mainstream cinema, and like I don't know, like I mean, like he's done A movies, B movies, C movies, and things that are closer to F and G, like things that are
Yeah, yeah,
way
yeah. Well, we'll
down.
talk a few of them today,
We will be,
but
yes.
yes, careful now talking about straddling and Udo because you'll get all excited and we won't be
This
able
is
to
this
complete
is
the
true.
show
I did,
because yeah, he was
yes,
also just an extremely beautiful man who the camera loved to look at as well, right? That's the other thing. Um,
yes, yes. It's funny. Jen has been asking me. She's kind of vaguely aware of who he is, and so I brought up some pictures today to explain to her
from
that
your
like
private collection.
collection, yes. And actually, what I showed her was the trailer for Dracula.
Right.
Um, and I remember thinking, oh, we talked about this off air, but like I was, as 15-year-old boy, deeply confused and troubled by how attractive I found Udo in that film. But I'd forgotten that also I was equally confused by how attractive I found Joe D'Alessandro in that film. That film's a real, yeah, that film really makes you question your which way you're gonna go as a
Yeah,
15-year-old.
I've never personally had the Jude Alessandro thing. I get it, but it's a good example though as well, like you were saying about that straddling and everything. So the difference being, I mean, Joe Alessandro is very good in some of the things that he's in, but
Mhm.
he's limited, right? I mean, he
Yes,
is.
yes.
I don't think he'd necessarily, although I wouldn't want to piss off Joe Alessandro, but I don't think he'd necessarily question the fact that a lot of um his fame is almost purely based on the way he looks, right, and the way
Yes.
he stands up. But Udo had that, but also was an excellent actor as well,
Yes.
right?
Although effectively untrained, did not study
Yeah, yeah,
acting.
yeah, absolutely.
That
Well,
came out in his, you sent me a link to his Criterion
Well, we'll talk
You
about that
need to be.
because there's something that came out of that which was actually bore great fruit, and I'll talk about that
Okay.
a bit. But also the other thing that's interesting, and this is not to, this is in no way to smear anyone's good name or anything like that, because to be honest, I don't think it would, people would necessarily um care anyway, and I
Mhm.
doubt if anyway. But I don't know if they've ever been substantiated, right? But the rumors are that he was discovered as a street hustler, right? By
Yeah, Udo,
Fassbinder.
Udo or Udo.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
So, I
yeah,
mean,
Joe Alessandro, that,
because
yeah,
D'Alessandro, I
that's,
think that's
yeah,
fairly common
yeah,
knowledge,
yeah, yeah.
right?
I don't think
I
I'm
mean, that's in
blowing the
that
lid
song.
off
That's in
the
that
Joe
song by
Dallas.
fucking Lou Reed.
Yeah. No, no, apparently that's how Fassbinder discovered
I could
Udo.
see it. I mean, he's such a beautiful
Yeah, but it's never kind
young
of
man.
been substantial. And the other
Okay.
interesting thing about it, thinking about this as well, actually, and there was a quote about him because I looked him up. So yeah, born in Cologne in
Mhm.
1944, moved to London to study acting in English when he was 19, like in the early 60s.
Mhm.
But the other thing that is kind of interesting about him as well, obviously you think about Udon, you think about all the great acting, but yes, straight out the gate, you can't help yourself. There's something about his sexuality. There's just something about the man on
Mhm.
screen. Even though he's in a whole bunch of like erotic stuff and obviously was interested in dabbling in that realm. But you don't, apart from like the face and the piercing eyes, and you don't really think of him necessarily as like having like a hot, well, I don't even imagine. But there was something deeply sexual about it. And what's interesting about that as well is um I was thinking about this, like, I've never really considered, because someone asked me or something, I can't remember. They were either like, oh, so Uduke, he was gay, right? And I had to
Mhm.
stop and think about it for a minute. I was like, oh, hang on, actually. I mean, I don't think I've actually assumed one way or the other, never
Okay.
given it any thought. But he was, and he was
Yes.
an openly
And
gay
out.
man his
He was
entire
out the
life.
entire time. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was never closeted.
But he mentioned it himself, I think, that he said, like, no one ever asked. So he never said, and that kind of makes sense. But it is interesting because he is. I never really thought about it, but if someone had asked me for sure, because I didn't know, I
Mhm.
wouldn't have been surprised either way. Like if they
Yeah,
just
I
said
think.
yes,
I mean,
yes, but then if they said no, he's been married for 50 years to a woman, I'd be like, oh, I believe that
well,
also.
like Bowie, I think he had that kind of he walked that line of
But in
um,
a
um
much less contrived, affected way. Like
well, yeah, I think it's just him. I think
yeah,
it
I
is.
think Bowie deliberately
Yeah.
played into that, right?
Mhm.
Um, but Udo just seems to have just, I don't know, just kind of floated through, and like no one really questioned him
That's
about it,
what's
or
struck me about this set of films we watched is how many of them he plays uh straight men in.
well,
Like
how often did he play
a
a gay
gay,
man
yeah,
actually?
possibly not very often. So it's interesting to be out and for that not to be a problem because I mean I think about like Rupert Everett who famously complained about when he came out he said that was it like his leading man roles just immediately dried up um,
Right,
because
right.
Hollywood at that point wasn't willing to take a
No,
chance.
but
um,
also I mean, I suppose I can imagine how that would surprise people because he doesn't fit a stereotype, right? He doesn't come across as particularly like effeminate or something like that.
mhm,
If that's how you're judging what,
right.
gay men like. So I can see how that would be a surprise,
Mhm.
I mean,
But
famously,
Udo as well. Udo, like in some films, seems quite camp in a way, but in a lot of films not. Like he can be quite aggressive and quite like
menacing. Well, that's the thing. He's
yeah, yeah,
menacing. He's
yeah,
menacing. And yeah, and the camp thing almost seems affected when he does it. And then it turns
yes.
out it's kind of might actually be closer to what he was like. Well, you did meet him, right?
No, sadly I didn't. So Ed, my mate Ed met him. This was just after I moved to Japan.
Ah, okay.
Was when that Cinemuerte festival happened and Udo came. So yes, that was the one where my Ed tried to interview him and he was upset about. He had already been interviewed by the uh, university press or whatever.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, but yeah. Sadly, no. I wish I'd had a chance to meet the
Um,
great.
yeah, so we will be talking, I
Mm-hmm.
think, 7 films today.
Mm-hmm.
This is because, so there was one on the docket, which I think we're going to postpone, right? Because,
Oh, okay, we are. Sure.
yeah, so yeah, Expose House on Straw Hill. We're going to be talking about the novelization with Gav in an episode of Literary Section, and it seems to be a bit of a shame to not get Gav's input on the film as well. So
Yeah,
if
makes
it's
sense.
okay with you,
Yep.
we'll put that. So that leaves us with, so we initially had 6, so that
Mm-hmm.
back to 5. But I think you watched an additional one, and
Oh,
I watched
I
an
didn't
additional.
actually have time to rewatch
Ah, okay.
Terror 2000, sadly, but
So we're doing 6
okay.
because I did watch. So yeah, so Shameless, Story of
Mm-hmm.
War, Escape from Bloody Plantation,
Mm-hmm.
100 Years of Hitler, German Chainsaw Massacre, and so yes, I sent you a link. So Udo went into the Criterion closet for those little
Mm-hmm.
short films that he did, and he is charming as all get
Yep.
out, isn't he?
Oh yes.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. I don't think I'd ever actually seen just him.
Him,
Just,
right, not playing a role, yeah.
and he's what a sweetie. He
Yes.
just seems
Yeah,
like
yeah.
such a nice,
He really
lovely.
does.
He seems like someone. If you were introduced to him at a party, you'd just want to talk to him all night, wouldn't you?
Yes.
He's lovely. But one of the things is, so he tells a few stories. Talks about Flesh Frankenstein and Blood for
Dracula.
Dracula and doing My Own Private Idaho with Gus Van Sant, and he talks about Lars von Trier. And
Yes.
it's not this film he's talking. I can't remember which film he picked for the Lars von Trier one because you can't see the.
Hmm.
Also, awesome props to Udo for being the first person I think in the Criterion
To
closet who
pick.
picked up some laser discs.
Yes, yeah, that was cool. But also, is he also like, don't people often pick movies that they're not in? I also like the fact
Yes,
that he only picked films that he's
yes,
in.
yes.
Um,
And he just seems yeah, no, I could have watched him. I could have watched an hour of him talking
I
about it
agree.
easily. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, but while talking about his work with Lars von Trier, and this is when the film is because sadly this film doesn't exist in a
Now
good
you've
digital
seen
format.
Dance from the Dark, right? That's a laugh riot.
Yeah, oh, absolutely comedy classic.
Funniest films
Yes.
I saw in the cinema, no less. And
Ah,
yeah, it wasn't an absolutely grueling and excruciating experience
no,
at all.
good film.
Yeah, it is a
Um,
good film, but maybe
but
the most effective
maybe
anti-death penalty
Breaking the
film ever
Waves
made.
he was talking about. That's the Udo one you said,
Okay.
right? Yeah. So anyway, but he's talking about meeting Lars von Trier at a film festival or something, and then Lars von Trier asking him to come to Denmark to star or to play Jason
Oh yes,
in
Viking
Medea in a TV movie version
of
of the
Medea.
Euripides play
Right.
Medea from. So I don't know why something about this really struck me,
Hmm.
and it was a bit last minute. I didn't want to pressure you, but so I grabbed a copy of Medea.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, it's not available in any decent shape or form, but we'll talk about it later because it turned out to be the best thing I watched for this.
Really?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, anyway,
Okay. Okay. So
uh,
let's jump back to 1968,
8,
which is
Austria.
Austria, and this is the first really lead role and the first feature film, right? He'd only done a
Yes,
short before this, so this is the
yes.
very beginning of
Shameless.
yes, Shameless.
Shameless. Yes. Right. I suppose we
I
want to do.
wish I had tried to memorize that incredible song that's always playing in the
Oh. See, that's
um
the one that goes. I did write it down, hoping I would remember it, but I don't know if I can remember the melody. The one that goes Domina da da batta, Domina da batta, something like that, right?
no, no, no,
Not that one.
that one's good too.
Yeah.
No, that's That's the one where the girl's eating the banana really erotically, I think.
Right. Yes.
No, it's the one that's like it has this crazy up and down kind of like that's what I want to, give me more,
Oh,
give
right.
me
Yeah. 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 With a
more, and then it
guy
goes.
talking over the. Yeah.
Yeah, that song is
Yes.
fantastic, and I think that is the vocalist from the Vampiros Lesbos soundtrack. I'm
Ah, right.
99% sure that's a very distinctive, gravelly
I haven't heard that score for a long time,
voice.
but I remember it being awesome. I'm gonna
Oh,
have
it's
to check
brilliant.
that out now. Maybe we can figure it out um retroactively who it is
Hmm.
then. Because the
Yeah,
Vampire Lesbos soundtrack is definitely because that's been out since
I
uh,
own a CD
yeah.
copy. I've had it since the
Um
90s or whatever.
Cripple Dick Hot Wax put it out, didn't they?
Yes, yeah, I have their copy of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, yes. So that anyway, there's some great music in Shamlos. We get that out of the way right now.
Yes.
Um, this is a great print of the film too. It's very clear and nicely filmed, very
Yeah,
sharp
it's not
images.
HD, but it's not bad. Based on a true story, apparently.
Yes,
Um,
yes. Some concerns apparently as well about whether or not some of the gangsters in the film were real gangsters, according to the opening
right,
crawl.
right. Yes, I'm thinking this is pretty much hyperbole, but
Bullshit. Yes, me
yes.
too.
But in this, yeah, so Udo Kier, I mean, straight out the gate, the camera loves him,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah. He's
yeah,
gorgeous.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's
And he's a real little punk. He's a real little
yeah, yeah,
piece of
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
He's quite, in fact, the film really has a kind of a proto-punk feel to me. These kind of
Yes,
angry street kids kind of,
yeah.
hitting back at Germany that's I mean, I think this
In
is the thread that's going to go through many of these films really is a Germany wrestling with whether to the extent to which it has actually
right.
packed what happened.
Yes, even though this is Austrian, but I would
Yes.
imagine it still counts. But also, so that the thing that's slightly confusing about this film is largely shot in Vienna.
Right.
But did you get the feeling that it was supposed to be set in Germany?
Yeah, kind of. Yes.
I got that feeling because there's even one scene, isn't there, where there's a character who's briefly introduced, like a housekeeper or something, and it's a thing, according to the subtitles, that she's speaking in a strong Austrian accent.
Yes, accent. Yeah, and there's a joke kind of about like him
Yeah,
at
so
work.
I think it's supposed to be set like, like I don't know, Stuttgart or something. I don't know,
Right.
but yeah. So Udo Kier is up and coming. I suppose what they'd call in Japan a chimpira, right? Like not a big
Yeah.
swinging dick of the gangster world, but
Right.
a young punk. And uh yes,
And
and
he's a pimp as well, basically,
yeah, so
right?
there's this fascinating concept as well in it of like
Those little
hookups in
caravans.
caravans. Yeah,
Yeah, yes, the hooker caravans are really.
I think
Uh,
that might be a real thing. I think I've
I'm
heard of
sure
that
it was.
before. It's a good
I would imagine.
idea.
I'd imagine that would be a thing. Even I would think in rural Ireland, I'm 90% sure that that was kind of a thing.
I thought you were going
We
to say
had.
I'm 90% sure that's how I lost my virginity,
Yes,
but
yeah,
I
it
was
was
too
in.
drunk to
It was.
remember.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, up in Seacrest,
You stepped
Seacrest
aboard
Estate.
the Mayo Express as it was going through town.
Um, yeah. Anyway, so yeah. I thought that seemed very real to me. That seemed very well observed. I'm sure that was, and even just those little caravans. They're so iconic to me of that era, right?
Right. Um,
Um,
so our other main character, speaking of also good-looking people who the camera loves, is one Marina Pal, who I don't think was in anything else.
no,
And she's like well, she's kind of the spoilt daughter of a fruit salesman, right?
an Italian fruit salesman,
Yes,
because
played by one Vladimir Medar. And I was looking at this man, I was thinking, I don't know him, but I
yeah,
bet he's in stuff, right? Because
yeah,
he's
yeah. I
just
was the same thing. I was like,
yeah.
I don't know him, but I maybe I do, right?
So
Like,
I looked him up, and it does seem to have been like very much a career of bit parts and things, and maybe even smaller than this. But he did once. in in 1962 starred as
Okay.
Taras Bulba in a film called The Fighting Cossacks,
Okay.
which I think was directed by Ferdinando Baldi as well.
Okay. Well,
But it's
see,
interesting because if you go over to the IMDb, and I was wondering about this, if there was a
mhm,
weird Taras Bulba Cossack boom or something for some reason in the
mhm.
early 60s. So I was thinking, 1962, isn't there another film? And there's another film called The Tartars that came out in
Okay.
1962 with Orson Welles. But then those both seem to have been piggybacking on another Taras Bulba film that came out in 1961, like a
Okay.
Hollywood production starring Yul Brynner. So there was like three Taras Bulba films in 61, 62. So I don't know what, it's Deep Impact versus Armageddon, isn't it? But
Yeah.
so
There
anyways,
you
so
go.
Vladimir Medar at one point did star in a film about Taras Bulba. So there you go. That's
He's in Massacro al Grande Canyon. Because when I saw his face,
yeah,
I
yeah,
went,
yeah.
this guy has to have been in some spaghetti
He's in
westerns.
loads of westerns actually.
Yeah.
He's also in some of those West
German
German
one.
Shatterhand ones and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he's actually quite good. I mean, I remember thinking like he's a good actor.
Yeah.
It's weird that he didn't seem to have had much of a leading man kind of a like that I didn't necessarily recognize him, given that he is good.
So anyway, Marina Pal
Hmm.
ends up strangled to death.
Yes. Initially, we think maybe by a gay actor that she's been kind of putting the screws to a little
Right.
bit, right?
Right. Yes, she's
Um,
been trying to seduce this this gay actor. And eats a banana very seductively and all that. And yeah,
mm.
so and then so
Well,
the
she gets her kid off more than once, and like there's a lot of gyrating around in nightclubs on the ground. And is it intimated vaguely that there's a dog involved in her act in one scene? It seemed like maybe.
maybe I can't remember. It's been
Um,
a little while since I watched this now. But yes, and then it turns into so the father um gets Udo and some other people to kidnap the actor and try and pressure him into confessing. And
yes, but despite Udo's very, very kind of cold attitude, generally speaking,
turns out he loved
he does seem to have
yeah,
harbored some deep feelings for this girl, and he
yes,
is happy to go. Although it is for money, he's taking the money
yes.
in order to kind of do this. Yeah.
It's also it's funny. It's a fun film, but there's bits of it where you're like, huh? Like so. Not only is a low-level gangster, but like at the very beginning of the film, he's even seems to be like a trained sniper, right? Like that
Yes. Yeah. He
kind of
just.
surprised me.
Yep. Well, he
Um,
does mention that he was in a circus family and was an
That's
extra
right.
trick
He does.
shot.
Yeah, because he gets it from the beginning. He gets a voiceover, and then you think the film's going to be about him, and then it suddenly switches over to the girl, and she has a bit of a voiceover, and then so it's kind of a bit of a mess, but it is fucking. It moves like nobody's business, and
Yep.
some of the editing, I was like, this is a bit Russ Meyer, isn't it? Like, it
Yep.
really
Yep. Yep.
shifts. It really
Probably
shifts.
propulsive.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
and
there's some twists and turns which we don't need to get into necessarily
yeah, I
as
don't
you
think we
think.
would give it. There's a nice
Yeah.
grim ending. But what is worth mentioning, if you're not already going to mention, is the happening
Oh
when.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, Otto Mule's Vienna Actionists are well, you say that, but the
Mhm.
thing is, it's kind of because not long ago watched Sweet Movie, and Sweet Movie's from 74, right? This is from
This
68.
is
And
this is a few years later when things
yeah,
I
well,
think
it's
have gone
interesting. So
further
this
off
one,
off track.
the happening is it's making a human pancake, isn't it? And
Mhm.
if you like seeing hot women covered in eggs, this is the film for you.
And
And
flour and people
yeah,
spitting like
yeah. Well,
food onto people.
that scene is suddenly like out of like an avant-garde film or something. And in the middle of the film, there's this bit.
It
It's
is,
awesome.
or some kind of very, very screwed up porn,
Yeah.
which I also
However,
think. You go on, yeah.
fast forward 6 years later, and
Hmm.
things are a little bit more bodily fluid than in. So this is like this is the Otto Mule.
I wouldn't say it's the dry run because it's still fairly wet,
Yeah,
but
but it's the Otto Mule that maybe
you could
you
take your
could show
granny
at
to.
Disneyland or something. I don't know. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah. I haven't seen Sweet Movie in a long time, so I don't
Such a
necessarily
good film.
remember. I don't
Such a
remember
good film.
the
I
auto
love
musical.
Sweet Movie. It's so awesome.
Um,
I mean, it's one of the few. We'll talk about this with some of the later films that failed, but it is Sweet Movie is. I'm wondering if it is maybe the best example, but it's definitely one of the best examples of an anarchist film, right? Like it's a
yes,
proper anarchist
anarchist
film.
cinema.
Like
Yeah.
there's other films that people that are about anarchy. Like of course the big famous one everyone talks about is Zero de Conduit, right? But
Yes. Yeah.
Zero de Conduit is not a particularly anarchic film,
Hmm.
really.
Yes. Yes.
Even for its time, it's not an anarchically made film necessarily.
No. No, I think Lynch Law Classroom is actually closer to the
Right?
spirit,
Right.
weirdly enough,
That would be a
than
hell of a double bill with Sweet Movie, especially the
um,
turned version.
yes.
Uh,
Um,
see earlier episodes,
episode.
Ed.
Yep.
Apparently, I think this might actually be based on a book as well by Karl Hans Kaiser and Theodore Ottawa, but I'm not sure about that. Yeah, no, I was surprised by this. I didn't expect this to be quite as good as it was. Like
Yeah.
it's a
No,
properly good film.
it's a nice, noiry kind of looking thing, um, and it's got rougher edges than I would have expected. Like it's like,
Yeah,
and I mean that like filmically, it's quite beautiful looking, but I mean it's just the movie's a
yeah.
bit meaner.
Shot by Walter Parch. The music as well is credited to someone called Gerhard Heinz, if that's maybe a clue for you to
Right.
finally track down.
Who is this vocalist that yeah.
Yeah. So directed by this guy called Eddie Saller. So he did a film before this, which I'm actually quite keen to see now. I managed to find a copy. He made a serial killer film called Torment of the Flesh,
Okay.
which apparently is quite good. And oddly enough, I was looking up a review out of IMDb after I had the thought myself, so I wasn't
Mhm.
influenced by this. But someone does mention that apparently he was considered the Russ Meyer of Germany or
Oh,
Austria or something, which kind of makes sense.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So then he does, yeah. So then he did that. He does this, and then he does like a couple of like just straight up sex comedies of the era of the late early 70s, starting with Shirts Up, Knickers Down from 1972.
I mean, it's a good title. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be watching that. Um,
um,
so Shameless is good, isn't it?
yeah, it's, I mean, if you consider for a moment that it is the first major acting role for Udo, I mean, he's bringing it right out
Knocks
of
it
the
out of the
gate,
park.
you know?
Yeah, he's bringing it all, and he's you would see why she would fall for him, right? Like,
Yes, yeah.
yeah,
And and there's a few scenes like you don't necessarily, especially when you think of the frailty of like him in I love that story actually in the Criterion Closet where he talked about having what he lived on like water and like leaves or whatever for like 7 or 8 days before filming because
right.
he's a slight man to begin with and he was asked to
Yes.
lose even more weight to play Dracula, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
it's like what's his name? Bruce Robinson complaining about Richard E. Grant being fat
yeah,
for
exactly.
with Hale and I. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Well, so
so
that also puts pay to that. So there's the story I always heard, and I suppose it could be true maybe if they shot around him or something. But the story I've always heard with Flesh for Frankenstein, Blood for Dracula is they wrapped on Flesh for Frankenstein before lunch one day, and then after lunch they started filming Blood for Dracula.
right.
But if they needed a week for him to, but I suppose maybe they could have shot around him.
Yeah,
Maybe they got Roman Polanski in to do his bit
right.
because he's in Blood, isn't he?
I'd forgotten about that, yes.
Because he does that trick, the "Do What I Do," which he later reprised in Bitter Moon.
Right. Um, I can't remember what I was going to say. Doesn't matter.
I think you were going to say, "Hey,
Just
Clive,
trying to.
why don't we talk
Yes,
just jacking?"
just jacking. Alrighty.
Yes, or I suppose we should say it properly at least once. Jules Jacan's
Jacques?
The Story of O
Hmm.
from 1975. Jules Jacan, just Jenkins' follow-up to Emmanuel,
Emmanuel? Yep.
which is a film I don't like much.
Yep.
I
Not a
do
huge
need to
fan.
rewatch it, I think, now that there's a nice Severin set of the first three films, right? I'm kind of willing to give it. Well, I was, because I was listening to the Severin Films podcast about, and totally awesome that they put it out, don't get me wrong, but I've just
Hmm.
never particularly liked. It's always been, what apparently Richard Curtis's working title for Four Weddings and a Funeral was Toffs on Heat, right? And that's very much what Emmanuel is, right? It's
Yes.
wealthy layabout expats, right? And I've
Yes.
never been able to relate to it. And when Severin put it out and they were talking it up, and I was thinking, yeah, I should probably give these films another go. But then after watching Story of O, I'm like, yeah, maybe not,
Hmm.
because it is very much in that vein. I think
Yeah.
a little bit more BDSM-y, but it
Mm.
is it
Oh
is
yeah.
very much Jules um, wealthy, horny layabouts
Yes.
film. Not as much good fun as Gwendolyn, which you would make later, which is,
Mm.
a different thing. Um, yeah, so Udo has a girlfriend, Corinne Clary.
Yes. Who I was trying to figure out what it is that made me obsessed with her because there was something that I saw as a teenager that she's in um that I saw before I saw
Yes. Oh, I
this.
think you're probably talking about the 007 classic Moonraker, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's Moonraker. No, it's Hitchhike. That's what it is. She plays opposite Franco Nero and David.
Ah, is she in that? Is she? Okay.
Oh
I don't
yes, she
remember
is.
her in that.
There's only three actors basically in the movie,
Really?
right?
Is she in that?
She's Franco Nero's wife that they're driving in the car and fighting, and
Oh,
then they pick up David A. Hess, and then everything goes sideways for them.
I don't remember that at all. More recently though, we've seen
In
in
your world,
Yours World.
he's a
And
mystery.
another classic she's in is The Humanoid.
So I am halfway through the humanoid right now.
All right.
I
How are
have.
you enjoying it?
I'm loving it.
It's quite good fun,
I
isn't it?
had. I don't think I've ever seen it before either. I don't know how I missed yet
Oh,
another
really?
sort of that person whose name we shall not say adjacent science
Right.
fiction film coming out of Italy. But yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
Richard.
Oh, I mean, if you are foolish enough, you find yourself in a queue for a re-release of one of those
Hmm.
films. No,
Yep.
no, no. Step out of the queue. Go
Hmm.
across town and catch yourself a humanoid Star Crash
Crash.
double bill.
Double bill.
There'll be
Yeah.
no queues for a start,
Yep.
and you'll have so much more fun, and you'll respect yourself more in the morning.
Yes. Yes. So that one has Corinne and it has Barbara Bach in it.
Yes.
That's two Bond girls for the price of one. So
Yep. Yep. No, no, no.
anyway,
Yeah, good. Anyway, yeah. So
back to
Corinne
story
Clay,
mode.
who is, to be fair, very good. I think she's the best thing about this, as
Uh,
well as Udo as
it's
well.
Udo. Um,
So this, yeah, and so sorry to backtrack.
hmm.
So based on a book, right?
Yeah, this is an interesting thing based on a book that for a long time was thought to have been maybe fake or written by a man or all this stuff, but turns out eventually to have been written by a
Yes.
woman.
Can you believe it? I'm still not convinced a woman wrote a book. That can't be
Um,
right.
I don't know about that, but that woman wrote this book is the question, I
I
think.
think with the help of a man, surely.
Hmm.
Um, yes. She was known as Dominique Henry under the pseudonym Pauline Réage, but they were both pseudonyms, right? Her real name was Anne Desclos, I think her name was. Um, yeah, there's a documentary about her called Writer of Awe,
Oh,
from 2004. And she's also turns up in a documentary called Erotica, A Journey into Female Sexuality from 1997, where she was in her 90s and she was being in.
wow.
Yeah. Um, I haven't seen either. I was going to see them. You know that there's that thing like, well, no, maybe I do this. Maybe you don't do this because you're a bit more
Okay.
sane, where I'm like researching something and I'm like I stack all these things up, and I'll get to like, and then I watch the main thing and I'm like, oh, I'm not interested in this, so I'm not actually gonna. So, for instance, there's a 10-part Brazilian story of all miniseries, which I sent you the link to.
Okay,
Someone's
right.
actually put them up on archive.org. I was excited to find it, but now after
Mhm.
watching this, I'm like, I might not
Yeah.
bother. Because just because it's not my anyway, we'll get into that. And in this book she
Mhm.
wrote in the 50s, early 50s, Major Cause Célèbre, and have you noticed my way of
French.
speaking French, by the way, is just to go "Ugh" instead of ah,
Yes.
and then it's kind of everything else goes by the wayside. As long as I go "Ugh," it's I get away with it.
Do we?
I think yeah, there you go.
Um, but yeah, I think that yeah, don't know what I was gonna say. Go on, continue.
Yes, so yes, so it's a film based on that
Mm.
by just Jackin and
Hmm.
screenplay by. So I was looking at the screenplay credits, Sebastian Ja Jabriso, maybe
Hmm.
Jabriso, and it's a very distinctive looking name, especially when you see it written down. And I was like, why the fuck do I know this name?
Hmm.
This name's you know very and I figured it out eventually. So he was a novelist,
Okay.
and he wrote a book which has been sitting on my literary as feck shortlist for quite a
Oh,
while
okay.
now. So we'll
Okay.
get back to him when we discuss the book The Sleeping Car Murders, because that's a
Okay.
book that he wrote. Um, yes, so yes, it's a tale. So Udo Kiers, he's got Corinne Clary as his
He
girlfriend.
plays, yeah, he's Renee. He's
Right.
slightly kind of cold fish, maybe.
It's a good role for Udo, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, he brings his weirdness quite
Yes.
well.
His fish
Um,
face.
yes, he's like a better made Peter Lorre somehow. Like if Peter Lorre was a beautiful man.
He's one of the few people who could be a model, but he could also be uh, a resident of Innsmouth.
Yes,
He's got
yes,
that kind of weird
yes. That's
crossover.
not a Venn diagram that many people
No,
kind of
no, that's what I
sit,
mean. It's quite
yeah, in the middle of.
unusual.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Klaus Kinski, but Klaus
Kinski when
Kinski
he's
is
young,
yes,
the
yes,
young
yes.
Kinski, yes.
Before he was a feral child later in life,
Well,
we
I think that Klaus Kinski had a painting that was getting younger, possibly. His attic.
yes, yes, I think
Um,
so. Whereas
uh,
he was just
he was
doing old
wearing everything in
debauched
his
things in
face.
yes.
Yeah.
That actually kind of makes sense. Yeah,
He's
I like this
the
theory.
reverse Dorian Gray.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but anyway, yeah. So Udo takes O. So she doesn't even have a name. She just has O, which is there's all this kind
right.
of stuff talked about how like it's vaginal and stuff and so on. That she's a hole and all of this.
Mm.
It's pleasant stuff when you read about the film, and this is one of the reasons why it certainly was controversial. The book was controversial. I
Yes.
mean, as you said, it caused célèbre en France, but that's because the French are a bunch of filthy perverts. The rest of the world was, right, concerned about the message of this, which is, basically what like love through submission, I guess, right, or the whole.
Right. And sorry, we just mentioned Klaus, and we should, of course, the connection is that he's in Fruits of Passion, which is the adaptation of the sequel to this book, right?
Right.
The
We're gonna
Return
get kicked
to
off right
Voici.
now. We're about to get kicked off
Yeah, so she loves Udo, and she does yeah, she's a submissive, and he sends her
to
uh
a
to get
finishing
trained.
school for
Yeah.
yes, ladies who will give their all, I guess.
And
But it's
eventually
all in
hands her
the
over to
yeah,
Sir Stefan, right?
yeah. There's this whole cuckolding kind of weird thing. Who is also his not biological brother, but maybe step brother or
Yeah,
brother of
played
some
by
kind.
Anthony Steele. And then there's Eugene Gavan plays like one of the dudes who's like, well, he's her valet during the first stay, right? Is the one who chains her up at night.
Right.
And um yeah, so there's
Anthony
that.
Steele sounds like an absolutely made up Italian actor's name. So I was forced to look up, and that actually is his name. That's not a
Right.
stage name. Anthony Maitland Steele.
Well,
Um,
he's got a name as well, Anthony Steele. I was like, oh, he must have been in some spaghetti westerns, but
yeah.
apparently not.
No, he did some Italian stuff, I think,
Yeah, and he's in
in the kind of
again, he's
60s.
in one of those shutter handy ones,
Right.
but not in a proper
Mostly,
macaroni.
no, mostly famous for having been Mr. Anita Eklund.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Anita Ekberg or
And
Britt Eklund.
Ekberg? No, sorry, Ekberg. Yes, Anita
Ah,
Ekberg.
okay,
He
because you've
was
just created some
a
monster
new.
of the two.
That's my little portmanteau.
Klaus
Um,
Kier would be
that's the
the
one.
male equivalent, I suppose.
I wish that they had made a film together where they played maybe cross-dressing priest brothers in the Old West, I think.
I mean, you've got AI at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Um, yes, so yeah, so it's all that, and of course there's a they mentioned Alice in Wonderland, there's a blah blah blah. So I was quite even though I've never been a fan of Emmanuel, I was
Mhm.
quite looking forward. I'd never seen. Had you seen Story of War before?
Nope.
No,
No,
I'd never
this is
seen it before, and I was quite looking forward to it, but it didn't work for me. But I was just wondering, and I'd be interested to talk to you about this, even though you are of a similar bent in some ways, even though we're not allowed to talk about that. But I was wondering if I'm because I'm trying to be objective about it. So
Mhm.
subjectively, this film loses me in the second half. Like the first half works well enough because it makes sense to me if you're going to depict this relationship.
Mhm.
It kind of it makes sense if you see what I mean. To me, it's like okay, I get this whether you're into it or not. I kind of.
Mhm.
But then when we get to the weird kind of finishing school thing with the other women and stuff like
Mhm.
that, at that point it loses me just because I don't and I have no concept of that being authentic or not. Do you know what I mean? Like that
Mhm.
whole finishing school stuff where it's kind of women on women learning to be sadistic and masochistic and that
Mhm.
stuff. That I've I couldn't that didn't feel real. Like the other stuff, the earlier stuff, that I understand that's from real life. I'm familiar with that. But then the finishing school stuff, I'm not saying it isn't real or authentic, but it didn't feel authentic to me. And I have that it was, I don't know. Does this make sense to you, or do you not know what I'm on about?
Yeah, I don't know that I was. Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, none of it really seems very real. Like, um,
No,
but
no,
I
no.
would say,
But at least it's like it's things that other people have written about and made movies about. Like it's a it's a scene you can imagine. Yeah, it's not real in terms of, but in the world of play acting and in scenes and there's clubs like you can imagine going to a club like
right.
this or especially if you had money, right, and you can buy you can say, but that weird finishing school stuff, it just seemed like that just seemed like nonsense to me.
Okay.
Which is fine. I don't mind
Hmm.
it being nonsense, but I didn't get much out of it. It wasn't fun. And then there's the they meet that girl and he's like, oh, tell me about being a fisherman, and she's doing the and then you cast and
All
really
right.
and I'm thinking, this is all a bit too French and mimey for me. Like,
Right.
and, and they're laughing, and I'm thinking, really you having a good time talking about
Hmm.
fucking fishing in like a stupid mime way. It's like, no,
Hmm.
this is So I don't know. It's just
What
it
did you
went off
make?
in a different direction.
What did you
That,
make of the oh, that's funny. I didn't realize that J. Arthur Rank was an actual studio. I just thought that was Cockney rhyming slang for having a wank. Um,
oh, you've never seen a film open with the? the big guy hitting the gong
I
rank
probably have. It's
organization?
funny. Yeah, no, I haven't thought it. I've more heard it as a euphemism for uh, tossing one off at the wrist than I've actually, yeah, done the film. Anyway, what did you make of the whole thing where Sir Stephen
Hand
kind of,
Shandy Studios is also a real
yes. Um, no, the what hand shandy?
Yeah, I was just wondering that what is the etymology
is it like
there?
who's shaking up their can of shandy that badly? You know,
Well,
that's
you would be if you're having a wank at the same time.
I
Like
guess
if you're in the middle of having a wank, I'm thirsty. I've got a terrible thirst.
time for a shandy. Um, but no, so it's one of the kind of the stranger features of the film is the muddying of the relationships, right? So at the beginning, you have Korean Cleary's O character, very much in love and obsessed with um, Udo Kier's Renee, right?
Yeah,
But he seems a bit like more he could take her or leave her, right? And
yeah,
ultimately, part of what he's doing is training her to hand her off to Sir Stephen, right?
yes.
And he falls in love with this other girl who then they decide to have her
Ah, yes, they
seduced.
groom her as well, right?
Yes,
Yes,
right.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
that's the other thing that's kind of gross. In like this shit, I probably flies in the mid 70s, right? But I definitely think in a post like Epstein kind of a world, this stuff just kind of seems icky to
Yeah,
me. Ri-
yeah,
This
that's not the
the
problem.
ultra rich and this kind of grooming process, it makes me feel like ick,
If you
right?
throw, it's weird, isn't it? For me, again, this may be a difference. I think it also makes a difference if, yeah, like you said, if you throw money into it, if it
Hmm.
becomes like an economic imperative, it becomes more icky. I think
Yeah.
if it's equals, then that's a slightly different
Yeah, yes.
thing.
Everyone's wired differently. Some people maybe
Yeah,
wired to want this
yeah.
and that, and
But
that's yeah.
yes,
But
you're right. When you throw money, but that's not an issue in this film, I think, because it seems as if everyone's kind of well. It's not as if because she has a quite a well-paid job as a photographer, so it's not as if
right,
they're taking advantage of you know people from the third world or something like that,
right,
or you know.
right.
So that's not and the ickiness isn't necessarily a factor for me either, just because I, I, if you're just going to depict this like because I don't think this film is trying it's not like this is this lifestyle needs you, right? It's not like trying to sell
Right.
it or something like that.
Hmm.
It's just a depiction of it. So I think unless it's some kind of weird Boko Haram recruitment
Right.
tool, then it
Uh-huh.
doesn't necessarily have to be problematic just for showing that lifestyle, right?
Right. But then, one of the ways in which it's muddied is that by the end of the film, it seems as though Sir Stephen has actually fallen for O, right, and he's in love with her,
Mm.
um, and so it ends with this kind of this moment, right, of her basically turning the tables, right, and
Yes.
inflicting pain on him,
Yes. One of the
and
few bits of the film I kind of quite liked in a way
right, yeah,
was the final few
she
seconds.
brands
Yeah,
him,
I thought that was quite a nice little ending.
right, and it's not just brands him, but brands him with an O, right, her
Yeah,
name,
yeah. No, that was
right,
quite neat.
you
I
know,
was like, okay, that's all right. I don't have a problem with
Mhm.
that. More
But
than
she's
anything, it was that last half, I think. It's like it just oh yeah. So before you get on to the larger what did you have any specific thoughts on that? Because it's just that section just seemed like
well, though there is
I don't
one
know, it
time,
was weird. It just turned into a different
right,
film.
right. I mean, I would say there was one scene that comes in the back half of the film that I kind of did like, although I don't know if I'm opening myself up to all kinds of questions. I'm not going to answer any of them, by the way. Um,
Oh no.
but there's a scene where a young guy, at one point, basically, Sir Stephen is lending her out, and it's all very weird. Like this whole cuckolding thing is just I don't get it at all. I don't get what's attractive about watching a person you're in love with getting nailed by somebody else. I've
I'm
never
not into it, but I do kind of get it. And one of the reasons I get it is in the way that it's depicted in the Tanizaki book we talked about, the key, right? Where
okay.
where giving his wife over to the young Nakadai Tatsuya is firing him up and is a
Right,
cure
right.
for his impotence.
Impotence. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. That's okay. Yeah. I guess if you are yes, if you're impotent, I can see it's a proxy. It's a half measure.
Mm.
Whereas, but if you're not, and Sir Stephen is not shown to be impotent, I don't quite get the whole thing. It's about proving something to yourself, like that. I don't know what. Anyway, I don't fully understand the psychology behind it. But
I have less problem with that than you do, but carry on.
okay. But again, it's not like I'm not making any moral claims about it. I
No,
just
no, no.
don't get
It's just you don't get it.
don't get it.
I'm not into it, but I do kind of get. I
Okay.
wouldn't do it, but I do get it more than you do. I think for some reason.
But then there's a scene where there's a younger guy. So of the two that he kind of he lets these two men have sex with her, or encourages her to have sex with him. And the one young guy falls for her and then demands that she be released from her contract, right? And he shows
Mm,
up at the house, and
mm,
there's this scene where, and I mean, it is down to Corinne Cleary being a very attractive lady, but she's been tied up and she's been whipped by the housemaid, right? And but she's standing there defiantly nude and tied up,
mm.
strafed with these things. And like she looks in the face of this young guy who's kind of come to be like, I'm gonna rescue you. And she's like, don't need you, don't need your rescuing. And he
No,
just flees. He flees. And for some reason that scene, I got that. I don't
no.
something about
That's yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Also, at that time, I think she's in her mind. She's thinking, one day I will be in space with Roger Moore, and all
yes.
this will be a memory.
Mm, yes. Or I'll be in space with Richard Keel again.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Even better.
yeah. Um, God, he looked a lot better with the beard. Hey, I was really struck by in that film, like when he has the full beard, he totally passes for like a decent looking dude, and then he shaves off the beard. Oh, I guess it gets lasered off, and then he looks like he looks like Richard Keel. Anyway, yeah, the film was fine. I wasn't grinding my teeth through it,
No, I
but
wasn't either. But
could have done with
I
more
don't.
Udo. Could have done with more Udo, to be honest. He
Yeah,
kind of disappears
Moda,
after the
Moda.
first half.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I suppose I shouldn't have been surprised because, like I said, I wasn't a fan of.
Emmanuel.
Yeah, and it is kind of very much in that, very shiny
Hmm.
cinematography, right?
Chic.
It's like fucking
Hmm.
Excalibur. Um,
Yeah, although in the Excalibur, I kind of like that. Yeah,
yeah,
whatever
it
the hell is
depends
going
on
on.
I don't have a problem the subject matter and shiny, but it's just, yeah, it's just jacking. I guess
Yeah.
it's not for me. Uh,
Hmm.
so there was also, yeah, so the same producer, Eric Rocha,
Hmm.
see, I did it again. He did this Brazilian TV series in the early
Oh,
90s.
okay.
And confusingly as well, so there's Fruits of Passion, which is the sequel book adaptation by none other than Shuji Terayama, which I've never actually seen. You've seen it, right?
Sorry, the sequel to
Fruits
which?
of Passion.
No, I've never seen Fruits of Passion.
Oh, we
No,
should probably both watch that, and I think
probably we
we get
should.
on.
I think
Yeah,
we both read about it because it features in Klaus Kinski's autobiography,
yes, he
one of the
moans
more
about it, of course.
salacious
Yes, yes,
sections of the
he
book.
moans about having to fuck in Japanese summer heat, and he does actually have my sympathies there. I kind of, yeah.
Hmm.
Doesn't he talk about like his balls being like dragged down in sweat or something like that? It's a
Yes,
very,
yes.
it's a very strong image. Um, but that is sometimes known as Story of O 2, but confusingly, there was a Story of O, Chapter 2, without Coingley and without Just Jackin.
Okay.
Um, and then there's that Gerard Demiano porno film, The Story of Joanna, right? Which is
Okay.
also a bit story of awe. And then there's a film called Journey of Awe.
Okay.
Um, yeah, let me read you this because so it has nothing to do with Story of
Okay.
Awe as far as I can tell. They just did the
Hmm.
all thing, but this may interest you. This is
Hmm.
the plot synopsis from the IMDb.
Okay.
Starring Georgina Spelvin, by the way.
Okay.
Ever since she was a child, Ophelia has had an urinal fixation. Her psychologist sends her to a house in the country where a group session with a lot of men relieves her of this fixation.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you know,
Hmm.
I'm sure you'll be Googling this, but nothing to do with Story of O.
No. Okay. All right.
But apparently beware, the VCX version is cut of all the good stuff, apparently.
Okay. All right.
Not that we'd be interested in that kind of film.
No. No. No.
Down
No.
with this sort of thing.
Story of
Careful
Ocean.
now.
Careful. Yes. Yes. Indeed.
We should really
Um,
start a podcast called Careful Now.
careful now. Where yes, we let people know. Mind your step.
Right. Are we done
I
with
think we're done
Story
with
of
the
O?
story of O. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So not a strong. But I probably regularly touching myself during the show. I'm going to get this out of the way with right now. This is not because I'm so excited to be talking about Udo, although I am.
Yeah,
But
what are you doing?
I received my shingles vaccine yesterday. In this time.
Shoppers.
Yeah, Shoppers Drug Mart. That's where went to get my vaccine.
You get a
Um,
vaccine in a...
drugstore.
Oh,
Like the chemists. Yeah, yeah, you don't have to go to a doctor. You could just go and the pharmacist,
wow. What
Mr.
a
Pharmacist,
what a
my
brave
shingles vaccine.
what a brave new world we live in. So hang on now, hang on. Is shingles like back? Is this a thing? Is it just in
I'm 50,
Canada?
I'm 50 and
Yeah.
shingles hasn't gone anywhere, Clive. Shingles is very much an ongoing thing for people
Yeah, no,
of a
I'm kind of aware.
age.
My brother, I think, had shingles a couple of years ago.
It's adult chicken pox, and it's much worse than chicken pox, and it can go into your asshole, apparently, Clive. I don't want chicken pox in my asshole. I mean, chickens, by all means, but chicken pox,
how
no.
does one get shingles? I don't think I know much about
Your
shingles.
immune system,
They put them on roofs, right?
yes, they do. Yeah, and then if
Yeah.
you're walking too close, they fall on the
Ah.
back of your shirt,
So
and
if you
then your
keep
fingers
away
and thumbs.
from shingled roofs,
I think it. So I think it is. I think it's something that lives in your body. So have you had chicken pox, Clive, as a child?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So I think it's dormant in your body from the time that you get it as a kid. And then if your immune system ever bottoms out, it's there waiting to fuck you up. And it gives you an awful, and it can go into your eyes. I mean, as I said, it's really, it's a much more serious thing to get as an adult than it is to get even as a kid. So it's, uh,
Hang on. Let me just, I have to do this every now and again. As you know, I take out my Nick translating
mm, mm.
hyperbole machine. I just,
I know a few people who've had it. They said it wasn't much
still,
fun.
there's nothing that's your, and basically, what it says here,
Uh-huh.
you'll be all right. It's not so bad. Ah, there we go. Good. Okay, moving on.
Hang on.
No one comes to this show for medical
It's
advice.
a form of herpes. Jesus. Herpes zoster, a painful blistering rash caused by the reactivation of the dormant chickenpox virus. Typically begins as a single stripe on one side of the body, lasting 2 to 4 weeks, caused by weakened immune system. It affects older adults 50 plus and those with or exposed to the chickenpox virus.
Anyway,
Yeah.
enough of this edition of hypochondriac as feck.
No,
we shall
everyone
move.
should go out and Clive, you should fucking, when you're 50, go get the shingles virus. You don't want shingles.
Go
Trust
get
me.
the shingles virus. That doesn't sound like a
Yeah,
good idea.
have your mum gather together some of your 50-year-old friends who also have shingles, and you guys can have a little shingles party to
Why
expose
does my
yourself.
mum have to get involved?
Oh, were you not a child of the 80s, Clive? Did your mum not participate in these parties where children were brought together to give each other the measles and the mumps and chickenpox?
No.
Fucking huge in Ireland. I'm
All
surprised it
right.
was fairly big in this, so this didn't catch on in Wales.
I don't understand. I assume you're
I'm being dead
making
serious.
reference to something, but I don't
No, I'm being
understand
dead.
what
No, I'm talking about something that really happened in the
you're talking
80s.
about. A party where people get together to give each other a disease
Yes. Yes.
with the intent of giving it.
Yes. Yes. To get it out of the way with.
Hang on now. You're not. This isn't some weird satire you're
No,
doing.
not at all. This is not a bit. This
All right,
really
talk
happened.
me through this. So
I mean,
your mother decides.
I don't know that my mum would be.
All right, a mother decides.
Yes.
Oh, my Nick. All right, not you again. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
My little Shaughnessy.
Mhm.
I
Who
wish
we could call by his last name.
I wish he had that insert, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
potato chips that my neighbor's child
Umbrella
has.
party, yeah.
I'm going to invite them all round to my house so they all catch this.
Yes.
I'm assuming there's an utility to this.
Well, so there's a Wikipedia entry, Clive. Pox party, P-O-X party. Pox parties, known as flu parties, are social activities in which children are deliberately exposed to infectious diseases, such as chickenpox. Such parties originated to get it over with before vaccines were available for particular illnesses or because childhood infection might be less severe than adult infection.
See, this is blowing my mind because I'm in my mid-40s, maybe since, I don't know, I was 10 years old or something. I have actively fought back against the insidious stereotype of the Irish being stupid. And now you're wiping it away in one fell swoop.
It was not even remotely you know, exclusive to Ireland. This is a worldwide phenomenon, Clive. I
Really?
think it didn't reach whatever part of the fucking Hebrides your bit of Wales is in.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah, and perhaps, I mean, I'm not saying it's a good practice. It wasn't a good practice.
When?
But it was a common practice. It was a common practice. Well, it's probably back now amongst morons who refuse to have their children vaccinated.
Right.
But
because if you're about to tell me this was in the 1700s, oh, fair enough. I kind of understand. But I'm assuming you're talking 20th century.
I'm talking the 1970s and 1980s for the most part.
But you never went to a pox party.
I don't think my mom ever deliberately sent me anywhere where I was going to get sick. Yes. Thanks, Mom.
So, yes. So basically you're talking about you've got normal
well, we're both talking about Udo Kier.
You're talking history of morons, then, is what you're...
Anyway.
You're on Moronopedia, right?
Yes.
I mean, what would be the advantage? Getting it over and done with.
Well, so for example, Rubella, right? Also known as the German.
They were one of the lesser glam rock groups, but yes.
Yes. So if you get the German measles, before you are go through puberty, it can't do anything awful to you apparently, or like it can't cause you to be sterile. But if you get them after or while in puberty or after puberty, the German measles can make you sterile. So there was a number of these things where before there was a vaccine, and they knew that if you got the adult version, it was going to be far worse for your health. Yes, they were exposing children deliberately to the child versions of them as a form of vaccination, I guess, as a very crude form.
I see. Okay, this is making slightly more sense now.
Okay.
I mean, if you're talking specifically German measles, I don't know if the other diseases, or if that's exclusive.
Well, I get chickenpox and shingles. Like there are often a childhood version and an adult version of these things.
But you're saying you had chickenpox.
Yes, and you still have, in that case, it doesn't negate the ability to get, Anyway, escape from blood plantation is, I think, what we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah, why not? I think we've exhausted the pox party. Yeah.
That should be our next show.
Careful now. That could be our debut show. Pox. Honestly, I could, if we had all the time in the world, I would actually quite like to go off and research it and interview people and come back and do an episode of Careful Now. Anyway, enough of your nonsense, Nick. Escape from blood plantation, or as the theme tune has it, the island of the bloody plantation. This is a sappy, horrible ballad, isn't it?
It's an amazing song to open a film like this, and then to play repeatedly as the film is going on. I also quite like the German title, Die Insel der blutigen Plantage, which I think is Die Incels on a Bloody Plantation.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah. So I think...
No, carry on.
Okay, I think that this film... What I want to see is a documentary.
Here we go. I'm waiting for. It's the best film ever made.
No. What this film demands is a documentary about the making of this film.
Yes, I agree with you.
Everything I read about the making of this film made me want to know more about this, but what actually ends up on celluloid
Bit
you
of a
know,
troubled production.
yeah, like kind of hilariously so. And also the people involved in making it and the reasons for making it, all of it's kind of fascinating to me. Um,
Yeah, having to smuggle the print out of the country.
yeah, that Udo had to heist it like and they had to
Yeah,
like exchange like a suitcase full of rocks for yeah. I mean
yeah,
all that shit
yeah.
was
More interesting than the film, I think, for sure.
totally.
Although, yeah, I mean, the film is kind of interesting in a way, and it's a good example of one of those films where you'll fall asleep and then like there'll be one jarring
Hmm.
image and you'll be like, oh, has this film been better than I thought all along?
Hmm.
No, but that bit is kind of interesting.
Weirdly beautiful though. Just the actual I mean I wish I we could see it really really clean and HD
Yes.
because I have
Yeah.
a
No, no,
feeling
it would be nice to see a
I have
clean
a
up
feeling it's quite
version.
a gorgeous looking film. I mean that part
Yeah,
is down to the Philippines, right? It's shot in the Philippines, right?
it is. And ostensibly, until they stole it, I guess, was a West German Philippine
Co-pro.
co-production as well,
Yeah.
right? So basically, I mean, the setup's fairly easy. I mean, well, actually, I was about to say that, but then now thinking about it, actually, if you were to try and say exactly what was going on,
Yeah.
it's actually quite tricky. So
Hmm.
I guess I suppose it's a satire about, all the Nazis who the rat line who managed to escape to various parts of South America, right? So
Yeah.
they're never called Nazis, but they clearly are
Yes.
Nazis, right?
Yes. There's even
Led by
there's an Ilsa the she wolf kind of
yeah.
yeah.
Well, so the main guy is this guy called Carl Otto Alberti, a
Hmm.
former wrestler actually in real life. So he's
Oh.
the guy who runs this camp. Who, yeah, it's a bloody plantation, and they have all these kind of local women out in the fields, doing something, for
Uh,
someone.
Smashing open coconuts or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that
it's
on
just a kind of
sticks.
weirdly like broadly women in prison setup, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Except they're not crims or anything, I don't think. It's just these
No.
Nazis are they're basically just being cruel, right? They're like, haha, let us go to South
They're
America and be cruel.
yes, they're Nazi colonists basically, right? They're
Yes,
you
yes.
know.
Yes, and yes, as well as Carl Otto Alberti, we have second build Barbara Valentine, who we saw in Fassbinder's World on a Wire.
Yes, yeah, and
Um,
she's but I mean she's in a bunch of Fassbinder
Yeah, well, we'll talk about the
one of his.
Fassbinder because there's a lot of Fassbinder. So yeah, she plays Bloody Olga, right?
Mhm.
And she fancies Udo Kier, who's one of the guards. Except Udo Kier's in love with Cora, as played by Karen Lopez, who's one of the local prisoner women,
Mhm.
and she's trying to help her kind of escape and her and other women to start a revolution.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, uh, a is it a sister of one of the plantation people has had herself smuggled on board the island to
It's Olga's
reconcile?
daughter. It's Olga's
Daughter, there we
daughter.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that bit's a bit strange.
Yep.
Although she adds a nice little extra element, the doctor.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, she's
Um,
cute. As is I mean all the girls are
we're terribly open-minded on this show, as you know.
yes.
Um, Yes, and yeah, there's an overthrow eventually. There's the typical, yeah, it always happens in these big bird dollhouse, big birdcage type
Yes.
films, right? Sid Haig should be in this, really. Um,
Agreed. And so
ah,
should what's his face? That I
oh,
love.
Vic Diaz.
No, no,
Well, he should be in it as well.
fucking oh my God. Henry Silva. Henry Silva did a lot of
Ah,
those women in
what a film
prison.
that would be. Henry Silva, Vic Diaz, Sid Haig, Udo Kier
Yeah.
in Naked Women in the Tropics, or something like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, I suppose the most interesting thing about it is the fact that they utilize spiders, right?
Yes.
And there's
Yes.
one particularly well done. I was talking about the bit that makes you sit up and you said there's one
Mhm.
particularly cool spider death when you see the bloated
Yeah.
body of, I
Yeah.
think that might actually be, um is that Kurt Raab? Is that how he dies? The director of the film.
No, Kurt Rabb dies when he walks into the ocean because Kurt Rabb plays the queer,
Ah, that's
uh,
right. So maybe Peter
like
Kern then.
Catholic,
The
whatever, yeah, priest kind of character on the.
Also in this film, of note, of course, is expat Filipino film legend Mike Monty.
Right.
Maybe one of his earlier roles after he went to the Philippines as well, I'm guessing.
Hmm.
He went there in about 1980, because he's in Emmanuel 3, not the official Emmanuel 3 one, but I can't remember if the scenes is Emmanuel, it might be before he went to the Philippines, maybe, because he did go through. Anyway, it's very early on in his, because of course he would go on to be in that would be an interesting kind of uh um kind of concept for we've talked about this before, doing like we've done them about directors, right?
Hmm.
But if you wanted to follow like an actor's career, I mean,
Hmm.
Udo would be a good one.
Oh
But
yeah.
also like to do just all the films Mike Monty was in, I'm
Hmm.
sure you would turn up some kind of gems,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Um, but yes, so yeah, that's set up. So what is kind of interesting though, I suppose, are the people who made this film, right?
Yes.
So director, writer, and production designer, which he was most famous for, is of course
Hmm.
Kurt Raab,
But Kurt
who
was not supposed to direct this film.
no,
Right. That's because the original Filipino director basically turned out to be an insufferable alcoholic who couldn't get anything
right,
done, couldn't get things started, and yeah, basically, um, I like the story of Kurt Raab talking about how he reached the point where he was so because he's acting, he's directing, he's doing everything. He's like having to take glucose injections in order to just like stay awake and kind of fraying at the edges, I guess.
right. Um, co-directed by Peter Kern as well. And yeah, so these are Fassbinder people, and of course Kurt Raab, most famous for directing and starring in Tenderness of the
Enemies of the
Wolves,
Wolves, yeah. Right.
which is an extraordinary
Yeah.
film, which I'm assuming you've seen.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. A great film. Kind of fascinating that he has this in the filmography as well, because it's very
Hmm.
Tenderness of the Wolves is a very, very serious film,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
And I was wondering, so once you start talking about the Fassbinder of it all, right, it kind of starts making a bit more sense, because then you start thinking about someone who we've talked about on here before, and we have learnt to appreciate the films of Uli Lamel,
Hmm.
right? Not so
Yes.
much
Yep.
the earlier ones, you know, that's fine, but yeah,
Yep.
the
Yeah, his
cold
weird,
heat, the
his
yeah.
weird late 80s, early 90s
So
output.
this
Yeah.
strikes me a bit like that,
Yes.
almost like it's
Yeah.
someone playing around, except not as. I mean, Uli Lamel clearly had a wit about him,
Hmm.
right? Which even escaped him at times, right? Like later on, all those later, like, that batch of like serial killer films that he makes
Right.
that are just largely god
Awful.
awful, and
Yeah.
David Hess turns up in a few of them, right?
Hmm.
Um, but that 80s, 90s wilderness period
Hmm.
is fascinating.
Oh yeah, yeah. The ones we watched were
Yeah.
very entertaining.
So I can
Um,
imagine Uli Lamel maybe doing something a bit more interesting with this. I'm not sure. But then again, as we said, there were very serious production problems, right?
yeah, I mean, that's what's so strange about this. So the whole concept being originally basically Kurt Raab and others wanted to create their own production company, and they did, and they produced something. I don't remember what the first film was, but it was not. It was like a highbrow comedy of some kind, anarchic kind of thing, and it didn't go over. Like audiences were not interested. So then
Mm,
they took this idea of like a one for us, one for them, one for us kind of a thing. Like we'll
right.
make we'll
One for
make
all. Oh no.
yeah, that's the one.
And then they
No.
got swords, right? And then they
Yes.
went and they fought
Porthos,
Cardinal
Ararat.
Richelieu. Is that what
Yes.
happened? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved Dogtanion. But
Not
so
D'Artagnan, Dog Tanyan
that's what I
and the
said.
three
Musca
uh,
Hounds.
Muskehounds. Yes.
Yes, yeah, I was a huge
Fuck, I
fan.
hated that when I was a kid.
No, I quite liked it.
Did you?
Um, but good to know.
Well,
Thanks for
that
telling me,
says
Clive.
a lot about why I'm cool and you're not.
It does. It's also a little thing for me to file away in the cabinet of
You're not choosing
things to
the three
remember.
fucking Musker hounds for a future
How many
Valentine.
episodes are there? 56, 58? So
I
yeah,
counter you with Around the World with Willy Fogg,
Fog, yes.
which I also really didn't like. I might enjoy them more now, but at the time, those weird Japanese Euro anime
Co-productions,
co-productions, I really
right.
didn't. Although now I would be tempted with One Chishingura.
Right. Um, but no, so yeah, so this was basically their first attempt to to do something that was going to be a purely a money-making vehicle. So we're going to do something exploitational. But the problem is, it's not actually like there's so many missed opportunities for exploitation here.
Yeah, there's not enough
Right?
nudity, there's not
Not
enough
nearly not enough
violence.
gore, not enough
Yeah.
action. Like there's like yeah, it's very strange. It's like it's constantly pulling punches where you need to go that much further. Um,
I think if you spend long enough in the world of Fassbinder, then I think it kind of might cloud your judgment about what is commercial cinema, right?
right, what's not?
I mean,
Yes.
because it's kind of remarkable in a way. I know he never really got massive budgets, but I mean, considering, I mean, Fassbinder just kept rolling, right? I mean, he died young, and the amount of stuff he
37.
made, he,
I'm 13 years older than Fassbinder was when
yeah,
he died. That's terrifying.
and he just barreled along, right? Just making film after film after film,
And
just
whole TV
yeah,
series, Berlin
pure
Alexander
will
Platz.
alone, right? Like, obviously at a certain point, I suppose he did get a certain amount of a cultural cachet, right? So he
Right.
managed to, but still, it's kind of remarkable that he did basically just this propulsive career, which clearly took its toll. But still,
Yes.
it's still amazing, and you could imagine being in that bubble for so long, it might kind of slightly
Warp your
cloud your,
sensibilities.
yeah, like what, yeah. Anyway, fascinating to consider. I do have to read because we've talked about this before, and I'm not quite sure how further along you are. I don't think we've checked in, but we were
Mhm.
both saying, like, I don't know, a few years ago, we were both like interested in Fassbinder, but
Yep.
hadn't quite yet bitten by the Fassbinder bug. And then we watched World on a Wire, which we both really liked.
Yes.
And then since then, I don't know how you've been doing, but I have actually
Watched a few.
yeah, and I have got the bug now, I have to admit. So I'm kind of all in for watching all of Fassbinder, and I do need to read some books about him because some of the books about him are apparently
Yes.
brilliant because he
I
was
remember
yeah.
that. I mean, I went through a phase back in university where I did, um, because he was one of the few directors again of the 70s who explicitly referenced anarchism and kind of he did some stuff that was kind of Baader Meinhof adjacent
Mm,
around kind of third generation, for
third
example,
generation, yeah.
which I remember watching. I remember watching Mother Custer's Goes to Heaven at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
So I watched a brace of them, and I
But
remember
it seems like
liking.
you weren't quite ready for them, right?
No, so yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely should go back now, I think,
yeah,
with
yeah.
my 50-year-old eyes and see what.
I've
Uh,
been watching and I've been yeah, for me as well, first time I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this now. I'm kind of yeah.
okay, cool. Um, so yeah, so
We're gonna
basically,
get kicked off. That
okay,
cool was probably a good
okay.
next show. Fassbinder as fact.
Now we haven't mentioned the fact that there are a certain number of little people actors in this film who steal pretty much any of the scenes that they're
Yes,
in.
three
Um,
of them.
Yes, there's a particularly ridiculous scene where two of them are watching one of the Nazi plantation owners molesting a girl, and then one of them tries to give the other one a hand job or something like that, and then gets rebuffed with a slur.
All
Um,
very respectfully done.
very much so, yes.
Yes.
um, but yeah, it's funny. It also kind of wastes Udo, right? Udo plays a very kind of like flat. He's the leading man, which I mean, honestly, it doesn't really make any sense,
But
to
he's
play.
good in it. He's
He
always
is.
good. He's
He's fine.
convincing.
He
Yeah.
suffers a bit under a shit dub job as well in this, which is something that we're
Right.
going to see in a couple of these films.
Yes.
Actually, is that like it's quite nice to hear because he. I don't understand why you would ever dub him because if you watch Flesh for Frankenstein or well, really most of his English language cinema, it's him, right? And part of the charm is his real voice and his real accent.
Yeah. Well, I was
Um,
wondering about this though, as well. It's something that might have degenerated a little bit because, for instance, in that Criterion video. I mean, you can understand what he's saying, but
Mhm.
it's almost as if he's not got worse exactly, but it's like most people lose an accent. Udo
Right.
Kier seems to have got a more of an accent the older he's got.
Right.
And plus he's obviously he's elderly, and that's just a
Yeah.
couple of years ago, right? So he's kind of
Yes.
maybe has slight more, I don't know, maybe a bit of a speech impediment or something, or I
Mhm.
don't know what it is. But no, I agree with you. It's not as if he was ever. It wasn't like was it Mario? Who's the guy? Do you remember there was that TV series um based on the Borgias? It was like notorious. It was like in the 70s, maybe after I Claudius was a hit.
Okay.
They did like a version of the Borgias, and is it Mario Ordolph? There's some actor in that, and no
Okay.
one could understand what he was saying at all.
Okay. So did they dub him or did they just leave him?
No, they just left it in, and
Okay.
everyone every
Cool.
week was writing into the Radio Times, "Why, oh why can I not understand, points of
That's
view or
awesome.
whatever?" Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so it's not like that. I've
No,
never
no,
had difficulty understanding what he's saying.
no.
And like you said, it is part of, yeah, like Blood for the Virgin, that's part of the
Yes, part of
charm
the
of
fun.
it, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And he
Um,
obviously is aware of it in a bit, like I suspect he never gives it away, but I suspect Werner Herzog also knows what he sounds like
oh
to
yes,
English ears, right?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. They're playing with it for sure. It's funny, his character in this as well is called Hermano, which means brother in Spanish, right? And then
right.
his last name is Hartman. So he's a sweet guy, right? You know, he's his brother Hartman. Um, but yeah, no, as I said, what I like about all these films, actually, Clive, is great running times. A lot of these films clock in at less than an hour and 30, like an hour and 20, an hour and 25. Some of them at 50 minutes, 30 minutes.
Mm.
Um, Always appreciate a film that doesn't outstay its welcome. Um, but yeah, anyway, I mean, not on my list of top Udo films, nor my list of top Kurt Raab films, or list of top women in prison films, or really the top of any list of films.
Maybe at the top of not whole films, but spider bite scenes.
Mm, mm.
I was
That's a
just wondering
funny.
that we mentioned Herzog, and then I was just about to say, oh, what a shame we didn't get a Herzog Udo Kier film. But then, and I just double checked to make sure if my memory was wrong, but we did get one, right? I'm wondering if you've ever actually seen this film, because it's actually quite an interesting film. Did you ever see Invincible with Tim Roth?
No, no.
So Tim Roth plays, I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Hannesen? He was like Hitler's chief astrologer.
Okay,
So there's a film called Invincible in which Tim Roth plays Hannesen,
okay,
and someone else plays like a Jewish strong man. And
okay.
it's a Werner Herzog film from 2001. It's one that doesn't really get talked about so much now, but it's actually a very good film, and Udo's in
Hmm,
that.
okay. Yeah, talking about poor Udo and typecasting, the number of films in which he plays vampires or is in like adjacent to vampires, and the number of films in which he plays Hitler or Nazis is an
Yeah,
enormous amount of his filmography. I mean, he's
yeah.
played
Well,
Hitler like 5 or 6 times.
wasn't he instrumental in getting Iron Sky and the
Oh
sequel?
yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Which are not
No,
good.
no,
I know some people think, but no. It's
no.
it's it's a 5 minute short film gag stretched
Yes,
out, right? I
exactly.
saw another film recently. I saw like half of it and then switched it off. It's interesting. Iron Sky itself has inspired. So there's a film that came out a couple of years ago called Mad Heidi, which
Okay,
is set in kind of like a totalitarian Switzerland in which Casper Van Dien is the president. And it's all about cheese. And I was watching, I was like, this is like sub Iron Sky, if you can imagine such a
okay,
thing. But
wow.
yeah, so stay away from. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of bros somewhere on the internet who think it's the funniest thing ever, but no thanks.
Okay.
Careful now.
Careful now.
So, shall we
Moving on.
move on?
I think we should
Speaking
move
of
on.
which,
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Yes. Are we into Hitler territory now?
not only Hitler, we're talking 100 years of Hitler.
Yes. Yes.
Speaking of the brief running time, it's 55 minutes, and boy, did I appreciate that with this one. So this is one of a couple of, here we go, Christoph Schlingenschief.
Yes. Yes. This was part of a trilogy or a triptych of films he made, and I've seen all of them, as it turns out now. I'd seen one of them before, many, many years ago, and now I've seen the other two.
Have you seen, I think Udo's not in this one. The other one of this filmmaker's films that kind of got a certain amount of play is United Trash. Did you ever see that one?
No.
That's the one that kind of interests me,
Okay.
although less after having watched a couple of these.
Oh,
I haven't seen Terror 2000 yet.
I might have gotten along better with these than you did, I suspect.
I can't imagine you getting along worse. Anyway,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's surprising to me,
Really?
in a way. Yeah. I don't know why. Anyway, you unpack it, and then I'll tell you
Well, I mean,
why
this
I
first,
kind of
I've
liked
got a
them.
bit more to say about the net. This first one though is, I mean, so it's the bunker, right? Hitler's in there, Goring's in there. I guess is it him? Yeah, Himmler. I guess is it?
Yeah.
It was Himmler's
Um,
wife, right, who poisoned the children and all that.
Because Goering, Goebbels, Fegelein, Martin Bormann, Joseph Goebbels, Toxer Goebbels, his wife, Nurse Morell, Eva Braun.
Oh, is it Goebbels' wife? Yes, you're quite right. It was Goebbels'
Yes.
wife who
And of course,
poisoned
Wim Wenders,
the children.
the great Wim Wenders,
Yeah,
who, as
so
we all know,
there we go.
was in the bunker with
So
Hitler.
the thing with the second
Um,
of these two films we're going to talk about, I kind of understand where the satire is coming from, right? In the case of
right.
this film, I feel satire is at work, but
hmm
it's flying about 5 meters above my head, right?
Okay.
So this film set in the bunker
Yeah.
opens with footage of Wim Wenders accepting his acceptance speech at Cannes, winning for Wings of Desire, right?
Yes.
Now, there's clearly some sort of connection in Schliegenschief's head between this and Hitler and co in a bunker.
hmm
It evades me. And can you shed any light? Are you getting the joke?
No. No, no,
Okay.
that I didn't understand. No.
No. And in general, getting the joke is, I think, the problem with this for me. So yeah, so it's what's interesting about the film, I suppose, is the fact that they've totally they've totally bypassed the whole proscenium arch suspension of belief thing.
hmm
So you see the director's hand in frame talking to the
Yes.
actors, you
Oh,
see
yeah,
the
yeah.
clapperboard, and everything is, it seems to be filmed in like a real bunker or something.
Yes, it
and
was.
and there's like a spotlight, there's like always a spotlight.
Literally filmed with a torch.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's no kind of it's very much an artifice of, but weirdly enough, and this was something I do kind of give the film props for, there's a kind of alchemical process where the fact that it's so obviously a film kind of makes it more realistic somehow, because you're
Yes.
stuck in a bunker with mad
Yes.
people, right?
Yes. Yes. And I felt like I was at an event. Like I had gone to
Yes,
like
yes,
rather than I'm watching a
a
movie,
performance piece
I'm
or
at some
something.
sort of performance piece, and I'm
Yeah.
like worried about maybe I shouldn't have come here. This looks
Have you ever seen the early Brian De Palma film Hi Mom?
no, no, but a friend of mine is an enormous fan and has
I
recommended
love
it
it.
more than once. Okay,
That
so
friend of mine, yours might be me. Actually, I might
I
have
know
mentioned
you
it
are
before.
one of the people, but no,
Oh, right, okay. It's the
Donovan
sequel to
Schaefer.
Greetings. It's the two films he made with
Yes,
Robert De Niro. And
yes.
Greetings is okay, but Hi Mom is one of my favorite De Palma films. Very untypically De Palma
hmm
but there's a scene in it where the main characters go to this this kind of happening performance piece called Be Black Baby,
Yes,
and it
yes.
is amazing.
I've read about it, but I've
It's
never seen
fantastic. You should see it. It's really
it. Okay.
good. So yeah, something a little bit about that maybe, but for me,
Mhm.
nowhere near as effective. But yeah, but basically you're trapped in a bunker with crazy people. And I think what's difficult for me, anyway, what's difficult, but the reason it's difficult to get along with is like there's no like it's clearly very largely improvised, right?
Right.
But like there's no, it doesn't have any clear like set pieces or gags or a narr. It is just
Hmm.
it's,
Yes.
and people, and now I say it out loud, sounds really good, but
Mm.
it's not. I mean, it's just I couldn't get a handle on it at all.
Interesting.
I will be fair, it didn't
Mm.
actually actively irritate me. It has to be said. It should have irritated. I'd love to show it
Hmm.
to Ron. Oh, Ron's mind would
Yes.
explode, I think.
I was
He'd
thinking
be
that as I was
very
watching it. I
angry
was
little
enjoying imagining
Canadian.
Ron watching it as
Yes.
I was watching
Yeah.
it.
But it is just
I did like
I
it. I did like it. So possibly next year you could watch it again, around about Valentine's
so
Day.
tell me then, what is it about it? Because I did find it largely kind of impenetrable, really. What was your in? Do you have any tips? Because I wouldn't be adverse to give it, like I was thinking about maybe watching it again when I was high, maybe.
Okay.
If you
That was true. I would have been.
ah,
That may have been an
we
element.
have found the clue.
That may have been part of it in my bathtub, as well, which just adds an extra level of awesome to the proceedings. Um, I
Do you
think
not read at the bath anymore? As you
I
switch
do
to
both.
movies now, have
I'm
you?
ambidextrous that way, Clive.
Right.
I
You
can watch a
spend
movie
more
before
time in
we.
the bath.
My goal is to be more like a rat. I hope someday to just
Right.
retire entirely to the
Apart from
bathtub.
the ending bit, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe this whatever the skin condition he had that required him to be in the bath all the time.
It may
Um,
happen. It may happen if you do force your missus to watch School of Rock. You may end up. You'll be there enjoying in your bath, and it'll be the end
yeah.
of you. Yeah,
Um, so I think I got onto this thing's wavelength very quickly, and I don't know why. I think I just
because you're
went.
high. We just
Well,
figured
yeah,
it out.
that may have been part of it. Yeah, I think right away I was just kind of like, oh, okay, this is what this is going to be. This is going to be batshit crazy. This is going to be the bonkers, you know. And
I do like Udo as Hitler. I gotta say.
yeah, yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I thought Ava Braun was enjoyable too, and she shows up in the next film we're going to talk about as well, playing an equally histrionic, screaming.
Yes, histrionic's a good word.
I think. See, I was reading about it later on, and somebody said something on the IMDb that I really liked, and it was something along the lines of like, they said most of the films about this period of time are failures because you can't treat something as utterly fucked up as this group of people and what they did in this time and space. Um, you can't treat it in a normal way. You can't treat it like history. You kind of have
Right.
to go with them. And this thing of like
Yeah,
being trapped in this bunker with these fucking
yeah,
psychopaths
yeah,
screaming
yeah.
at each other for 55 minutes, I was like, oh yeah, this this is the version of such an unglamorous version. This is not the SS with their fucking cool coats
No,
and like
conceptually, I get it. I get it. But like you said, maybe you hit on it. It might be if you accept it as some kind of conceptual art piece more than a film,
film. Yes, yeah, I think
maybe.
definitely. Yeah, I was trying to evoke a feeling in me, and I got the feeling. I think I got the feeling of claustrophobia. I got the feeling of like I felt like the person who made this properly hates these people. Like this is a real good hatchet job on this bunch of people who are, for whatever reason, still fucking heroes to a bunch of sick white supremacist assholes. So
Right.
I enjoyed them and their legacy being dragged through the
Yeah.
muck.
Or not even heroes. Also, there's just the fascination, the whole Susan Sontag, you know, fascination with fascism thing. And so there's like a bit in, and I suffer from this. I kind of get it from both sides. There's that. I don't know if you've ever seen. There was a TV miniseries called "Selling Hitler," based on the good book about what's his name? What was his name? Connie something. The guy who faked the Hitler diaries,
Oh yes,
as
right.
played by Alexei Sayle in that. See it selling Hitler. It's
Okay.
quite good. But so the other main character in that, the guy who gets tricked into it, is played by also very good, is Jonathan Pryce.
Okay. Yes.
And Jonathan Pryce, yeah, he's this journalist for Der Spiegel, right? Who's like, he clearly is a bit too enamored. Like he's not a fascist, but he's so
Yeah.
fascinated and
Hmm.
like trying to, you know, yeah, like track down Martin Bormann and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And there's a bit in it where, of all people, what's his name? One foot in the grave. One foot in the grave. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about? The sitcom One Foot in the Grave.
Yes, but
Richard
I can't.
Wilson. Richard Wilson, is that his
Oh,
name?
okay.
Victor Meldrew. Victor Meldrew.
Okay.
There's a bit where he's like another journalist or something at Der Spiegel, and Jonathan Pryce is like just approaching him like in the cafeteria or something, and he's trying to sell some story about, yeah, something about Nazis or whatever. And Victor Meldrew just stands up and he just go, "Get to me with that Nazi shit!" And it's quite a telling scene because it's just like, oh yes, of course, that yeah, there's a and it's very easy to do because it is a fascinating period of time, and you do find yourself going down the rabbit hole, and then a bit like fucking Lemmy or something. If you find yourself in an apartment full of
Yeah.
iron crosses and things, you
Hmm.
might want to start thinking, hang on, have I,
Yep.
have I got my head on straight about
Yeah.
this? Should I maybe devote my time to something slightly less
Yeah.
insidious and diabolical, right?
Well, I mean, I think I told you. I'm sure I've told you. We did a.
We've told each other everything by now, Nick. It's
Yeah.
just a
Yes.
matter
Yeah.
of
And I may have even on.
regurgitating
What's
in
terrifying is I may have
sequence.
even already said this on one of the
We've
shows.
done that as well. It's
I
just,
probably
yeah,
have.
yeah,
I probably have.
yeah.
But I'm going to
It's
say it again
fine.
anyway. So I worked at a museum in my early 20s, and at one point we had an edged weapons
I
show.
love how you refer to the all-night video shop with porn that as a museum of pornography.
No,
It's
no,
not.
that was a bit later in my life,
Oh,
sadly.
oh, sorry, I'm getting
Yes, that was
confused.
more my mid 20s.
When we met,
Yes. I don't know what
when
you
I
were doing
wanted to
in
use your bathroom.
Victoria, British Columbia. Um, but anyway, so so yeah, we so there was an open call put out. So the museum had borrowed weapons from other museums, but then there was an open call put out to the community. If you happen to have a katana at home, if your family happens to have,
Oh,
some like
like an amnesty.
yeah, like or
Yeah,
like Kalahari Bushman spear, like please
yes.
bring it down and we'll
Bring in your Jim will fix it annuals.
there you go. Um, so
I'm keeping hold of mine. They'll be worth a
I
lot of
got
money one day.
I got one day I got taken down to the basically there was beneath the museum there was this kind of quite cool space where all of this stuff all the collections were housed right when they're not on display and the the head curator brought me down. He was like, "Yeah, so we got these in today, and we're not going to be putting these on display, but I thought you might be interested in seeing them." And it was a box full of
You seem like
Hitler
the
Youth.
kind of guy who'd dig this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he handed me there was a Hitler Youth, there was a couple of Hitler Youth daggers in there, and then he handed me an SS dagger, which was like this huge piece of metal, right?
Right.
Handle had like some fucking terrifying blood and iron shit like inscribed along the blade, right? And the weight of it in my hand and the immediate connection to like, oh yeah, okay, this is not a photograph. This is not like a bit of old grainy news,
Right.
footage. This is an object that was held by a person who, thought it was fine to exterminate whole groups of people. It was really disturbing. It was
And that
really
was the moment that you flipped. And oh, hang on. No.
no,
Oh,
no,
oh,
no.
oh.
My general feelings of anarcho-pacifism were very well maintained. Um, so so anyway, so yeah, so I really I do feel like the film. Yeah, I don't know why. I quite like this. I quite like the intent. I quite like the fucking crazy mess that it is.
I like the intent. I like that it exists. I don't like watching it.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
All right. I will say my favorite quote from IMDb. is
Oh, I'm wondering if this is the same one I've gone.
oh, maybe, yeah. There isn't a single character here that's likable. I'm like, who were
Yeah,
you hoping? Who were you
that's
hoping in Hitler's
yes.
bunker? Who was
That's
going to
from
like
user missing the
a
point.
point?
Oh,
Yes.
there was some other comment on there that started like, I'm doing it in the voice of that guy who did all those Lenzy reviews or
Yes.
tomato
Yeah.
reviews. Yeah.
Tomatoes,
I
yes.
am big fan of all Hitler movie or something like that.
Oh God.
And I was like,
Oh
oh,
Jesus.
okay.
Oh. Um, yeah. Um, anyway, yeah, no, so obviously this is one where really your mileage is going to vary. I think this is not for this is
Me.
not for most people. But it's interesting because it comes out at the same time, basically, as the next one we're going to talk about. So obviously this comes out at the moment of the reunification of Germany,
Well,
of
oddly
East and
enough,
West.
no, because I checked it out. It's
Okay.
released in January 89. It's made in 88. And I know it's made
Okay.
really quickly, but I think it's just predates it a little bit, right? So
Okay.
I don't know what was in the air that, because we never did figure out the film vendors of it all. Uh,
No, no.
it's clearly it's there for a reason, right? I think. I don't think it's just random. There's a reason Wim Wenders' acceptance speech, and I was even tempted if I'd have had time, I'd
Hmm.
have gone back to rewatch Wings of Desire
Okay.
just to see if there might have been a clue in there, like because
Mhm.
for instance, that's quite interesting. Here's a connection you might not have made, and I certainly didn't because I didn't see this back in the so Necromantic 2.
Hmm. Electric
So
Boogaloo, yeah.
yes, so if people were to ask you about Necromantic 2, would you necessarily think, oh, well, clearly Necromantic 2, above all else, is a parody of My Dinner with Andre?
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be my
No,
first.
no,
Yeah.
me neither. Probably because when I saw Necromantic 2 years before I saw
Or
My
you
Dinner
saw
with
Bettina
Andre,
Andre,
but I
yes.
was reading about Necromantic 2, and yes, apparently there's a whole extended scene which is a parody of My Dinner with Andre. And now that I've seen My Dinner with Andre, which is a
Hmm.
film I don't like, I have to admit, I now have to
I like Wallace
rewatch.
Shawn.
I like
Oh,
Wallace Shawn.
hmm.
Inconceivable, but I didn't like My
Okay.
Dinner with Andre. So now I have to watch Necromantic 2 again with that in
In
mind.
mind.
And
Hmm.
maybe even ask Jorge again next time he's in Japan. I'm sure he'll come again for some Godzilla. I missed him last time he was here last year, but
Okay.
because they showed Necromantic 1 and 2 here, and
Oh,
Mortis Mortis King was Todes King. That's Todes
oh,
King.
Total
They
Skin.
showed that
Yes.
as
Yeah.
well
Okay.
because he stayed with my mate Johannes. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to go. Uh,
Okay.
anyway,
Yes.
where were we?
I think we can probably dispense with Hitler for the
Oh yeah,
moment.
yeah. Wim Wenders. Don't know if
Yeah.
anyone knows.
Yes.
Let us know because I would actually like to know what's
What's
going on
going on at the
there.
beginning?
Yeah,
Yes. Um,
because I'm poor old him. I don't know why he's having a go at him. But
yes.
right, but we're staying in Christoph Schliegenschief world for
Yes.
the other one of the three. So the other third one that I've not seen and you were going to rewatch, but you didn't have time was Terror
Yes.
2000,
Terror
right?
2000. Yes.
Yeah, which I'm
Which is
guessing is along the same
yeah.
line.
Oh yeah. Very much. I remember it being very much so.
Right.
Although I think it's
Yeah,
even
I
more
will try it. I will try
clearly.
it.
It's even more. I seem to remember it's even more clearly about the resurgence of neo-Nazism and white supremacy in Germany. But I mean, all of these films, I think, were partly about the fact that the West, so East Germany had a full kind of like denazification project, right? They were because it was a communist country, right?
Right.
So they held people accountable. Whereas West Germany was a little
No,
more,
not so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Yeah.
So people were still working with people who they were like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Fritz over there was like into some really
Yes.
awful shit,
Yes.
20
Yes.
years ago,
Yes.
right? And so people like, and that's what I appreciate about Udo and Fassbinder and this guy is that they are kind of going, yeah, it's not really okay. Like
No, no,
we,
they're definitely addressing it, which is yeah, which is fascinating. But it's I was wondering about this as well. If it's just so there's clearly he makes 3 films with the guy. Clearly, Udo Kier had some kind of relationship with Christoph Schliegenschiff. Beyond, like, I think they were just pals or something. They clearly, like, on an artistic level, they connected. We should mention that Schliegenschiff, we don't wish to speak ill of the dead, but he did die back in 2010. He was young as well, 49 years old.
Shit.
But and he did a few more things that got traction. I remember that Freak Stars 3000 that had a bit of a cult following, and like I said, United Trash and a few of his other films. He did crop up again beyond this kind of trilogy, the Udo trilogy. So this one is the German Chainsaw Massacre. Again, a brief 63 minutes. Again, I mean, shrill and histrionic, I would say.
Yes. Yes.
But again, I will say, even though I didn't necessarily get on with it, it's interesting for me, at least, to note that it doesn't quite step over the line into being actively irritating. Like, I didn't like this either. I liked it more than the Bunker film.
Okay.
But
I might have a reverse. I think I might like the Bunker film slightly more than this. Although I'm fine. I like them both. But I think actually,
but again,
so
I
pure.
don't know
Something
why.
so pure about the 100 years.
Both films should have actively irritated me more. And I'm sure they would actively irritate Ron. Again, love to drag Ron to a double bill and chain him to it. But yeah, no. However, no, I didn't. But the setup here is let's just say the satire here is a lot more easy to understand and pass.
Yes.
Right? So basically, this is the walls come down. We start with footage of fireworks as the reunification festivities, and yes, so the borders are open, and so you can freely move, and and East Germans. East German characters basically become victims of these
inbred cannibal.
Yes, or C's, I suppose
West
you call
Germans.
them, right? The East Germans, or C's going over into West Germany. So I wonder if there might be I wonder if someone's trying to compare cannibalism to free market capitalism.
Yes,
Yeah,
I wondered
it's a
that
little
too.
on the nose.
So he was apparently he was quite inspired by, I mean, obviously the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but more apparently Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, he said, was the big influence on the film.
That's not a good sign. Although again, some people, and it's
Yes,
one I've
I
tried
know.
to revisit. I know some people, they look at TCM2 with fresh eyes, right? They're like,
Right.
don't judge it by the first film. It's a different thing. It's a comedy,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. I still
Don't
can't
get it
be
yet.
doing
And
it.
I've never really gone, but maybe maybe I need to.
But then again, some people even go Leatherface, the third one, right? Which of course was notoriously cut to
Cut to
ribbons and
pieces.
everyone's,
Yeah.
see the director's cut. That's no, still no.
They're not good. Yeah.
No. I mean, it's the first, again, maybe not fair to compare, but that first film is just so,
Oh, it's lightning in a bottle. I mean,
it's
that's the
amazing.
truth. It's
And the thing
truly.
is, even the first one is not flawless and immaculate. Like, as much of because as you know, I mentioned before, I actually went to see it in the theater, which is a great. It's actually here in theaters again now.
Cool.
If you get a chance, if it shows, go see it, because you've never seen it on a big screen, have you?
No.
See it, because it is just the volume of the chainsaw alone. It raises everything if you're not. But even seeing it in its prime, you forget. Everyone remembers Last House on the Left has that weird, goofy comedy in it.
Yes. Yes.
Texas Chainsaw does as well, though. That's the thing people forget. The wheelchair-bound character.
Oh, yes.
Some of the stuff he gets up to is like
Annoying as
it's
fuck.
quite
Yes.
jarring.
I remember that. Yes.
But you forget about it. You forget about that because the grueling stuff is
Nightmare
so
quality of
grueling.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah, and they try and recreate. I mean, to be fair, they're not really trying to recreate it here. They're not like, it's not like they're trying to match it or anything like that. But they're just referencing
Right.
set
Yes. Yeah.
scenes, and Leatherface in this one wears a yellow mac and a helmet with Valkyrie wings.
But yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That
yeah,
actor is kind of great. He's also in the other film, and
right.
he's
He
so
plays
kind of
Goring, right? I think, does he?
yes, yeah. He's so
Yeah,
kind of gormless looking. And the guy who plays like the kind of the sort of semi-patriarch of the family who has his dad upstairs, in the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
helmet or whatever. Um, he would make a great Charles Bukowski. I thought I've never seen
Yes,
an actor who actually looks really like the real Charles Bukowski before. Everyone who's
yes,
played him has been too good looking,
yeah.
but that guy
I
might
think
be a
he
relative.
looks far too good looking.
Yeah.
Even though I do
And
like
Dylan,
Firefly, but
like Matt Dillon as well. Like,
yeah, yeah.
he's even, yeah.
Factotum, right? I can't remember if I liked that or not.
No, I didn't. I'll get ahead
Oh,
of that.
okay, okay.
It's not a good.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can't remember if you liked it or not. Thanks for clarifying. Um, no, what
um,
I was going to say is,
yeah.
so to get to the Udo of it all, though,
Hmm.
Udo is very good. I like
He's the
Udo in this.
best. He's the
Well,
best
he
part of
does
the.
two things. First of all, he turns up with a Schwarz or Hackenkreuz mustache.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yep.
I took a screenshot, showed this to my wife,
Mm-hmm.
to which her response was kawaii, which I was quite surprised at. But there you
Although
go.
we should remember that in Japan, the swastika also has more positive connotations due to
Well,
the.
the original mandala the other way around.
Yes, yeah, because
Yes.
I
I
always
don't think
remember when I
that's what
first.
she was referring to, though.
No,
She's a
no.
big Udo fan, so
Well, I mean,
yeah,
he's a
yeah,
beautiful dude.
yeah. But yes, so but more than that, he also turns up as Johnny.
Johnny.
Yes. And
Yes,
his scenes as Johnny are easily the best scenes in the
they
film.
are.
He comes in, he's all weirdly
Giggly
cackling,
and drunk.
giggling, cuts off his own hand, and it's
Sets his hair on fire, which is
yeah.
my favorite part. He pours booze on his head and
Yeah.
he's got this big curly wig on, and then he sets his wig on fire.
But it's interesting. It's not just because we're Udo fanboys. I think clearly the bit where he turns up is really good, and that's the other thing I was thinking about. Okay. So is this what the film's going for? If the rest of the film matched the Johnny scenes,
Hmm.
it would be brilliant. Because it
Right.
is. I understand that it is as well. This is again. This is very close to like proper anarchy on film, right? Like
Yes.
it's a proper anarchic film. It's not a film
Mhm.
about anarchy. It is an
Yes.
anarchic
Arcade
film.
film. Yes.
But yeah, it ain't my anarchy. Apart
It's not
from
your cup of anarchy.
it's not, which I suppose is a very anarchic thing to do.
Right.
uh, Johnny's scenes are great. And also speaking of anarchy, the other, there's that whole film Anarchist about Alex Cox. Did you notice? I think there's a very definite visual reference to Repo Man.
Okay.
There's
In
a
which
bit.
part?
It doesn't end into a car chase at this bit, but there's a bit where where the East Germans are
Right.
driving alongside our
Yes.
Leatherface family, and
Yeah.
they're talking across each other. And
Car. Yeah.
that's very Repo Man, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say too that this film more than the other one. I mean, the other one is all obviously based in a very dark bunker where you just have this big Klieg light kind of.
Yes.
But this one, I think it's quite weirdly beautiful in parts. I think they've chosen some really interesting locations. There's these massive, oh, there are concrete pylon things out in the middle of nowhere that feature prominently, and I don't know. Some of it's quite nice looking,
No, no, I like the locations and stuff like that. I like the fact that they didn't even bother to try and make some of the gore look convincing.
realistic.
Like
Yeah.
there's like a hilarious bit where a car goes into someone and just
The wig
it's
flies
clearly a
off.
mannequin.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. And there's a bit,
Yes.
I'm not sure if this is just because the high def is revealing it or if it was meant to be, but there's a bit where they chainsaw a body and there's bits coming out and there's like I don't know what they are. They're
Yeah.
like
I couldn't figure that either.
things that you'd find like I don't know to like form to like
Oh,
protect
yeah.
something or
Yeah,
something.
like
Yeah.
packing peanuts or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was bizarre. But I mean, I again, I can't really speak to this with any degree of confidence, but I have a feeling that Udo is in a lot more of Terror 2000, and that may be a reason why it's the best of the three. I think he actually has a proper leading role in that, as opposed to being used as almost like a
Okay.
special. He's almost a special effect in the he's held back
Yes.
and then presented.
Wait, Johnny.
Yeah, yeah, he's Johnny.
I like to
Um,
think of him as the Johnny that they sing about in that Devo song, Come Back Johnny. They're hoping that Udo comes back and sets his
comes
hair on
back.
fire and come back, Udo. Come back. We
Mm,
need you.
we do, we do. I'm terribly sad that he's not with us anymore. I mean,
Honestly, I've always been a fan. I've always thought he was great. And I'm not, I know when famous people died, everyone goes, oh, and I'm always slightly against that. Not because if you genuinely have enough empathy and you feel it, fair enough. And maybe
yeah,
one day when someone, like I didn't, I didn't cry. I didn't cry when Marky Smith died. And that
mhm,
would probably be as close as I would
yeah.
probably get to. Um, so whenever people do that, I'm always slightly suspicious because okay, you're a fan, you like them, yeah, but you didn't
You
know
don't know
them,
them,
right? You
yes,
didn't
yeah.
know them. However, I have to say, watching that, I didn't expect that. I was just watching it out of interest. I didn't expect it to move it. Watching the clip of him in the Criterion closet and just
Mhm.
seeing him,
Yeah,
I was genuinely, I was like, fuck, this dude's. I would have loved to have hung out with him. Just
yes,
he
yeah.
seems like genuinely like a just yeah. Anyway, I'm
Mhm.
actually getting a bit sad, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But I'm also suffering from I've been dieting, so I have reflux as well.
Oh, good
Globus.
fun.
So there we go. I always
Hmm.
like to bring it down to earth with a bit of
Hmm.
cynicism there. It might just be globus, not actual
Okay.
empathy. So yes, as previously mentioned, in Udo's Criterion pick vid, he did mention this film called Medea,
Mm.
which he did for Lars von Trier, a TV movie from 1988, Danish, obviously based on the Euripides play, based on the Greek myth of Medea. I
Mm.
have to admit, not I'm not up on my Euripides.
I believe Euripides pants, you buy them.
You motherfucker! I was going to do that.
Sorry.
Well, no, no, no. I was going to do the young ones because if you remember, there's it's one of the scenes where where they have the puppet. I think they're in someone's stomach or something. It's like a
Okay.
fish talking. Is it the
Oh,
goldfish
yes.
talking to the potato or something?
Yes,
No, no,
yes, yes.
no. It's not. It's the two
Yeah.
rats. It's the two
Okay.
rats. Right? Yeah, and they do the you ripping his trousers. You mended his trousers. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
It is a good. It is a. It's
It
one
is a
of
good
the.
joke.
It's one of the better classical literature
Puns.
jokes out there. Yeah,
Yes.
I would imagine there's classics professors around the world. You
Yeah.
do know that
Happy that there's a good Euripides
ripping his
joke.
trousers and you mended these trousers. A very open-minded fellow. Um, so of course there's a Pasolini Medea film as well, isn't there, from the late 60s, which I've not seen, which I'm kind of interested to. Again, Pasolini, one of
Yeah.
those like legends of the art house world, which I think maybe I have a bit more appreciation for the older I get, the more I dig.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I would be happy to go see the rest because I mean, I've certain things I've seen a number of times, like Canterbury Tales and
Right, but I haven't seen like
Salo.
Pigsty, for example.
Oh, I have.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah,
okay,
I've
that
seen
that
Horse
int
Isle.
that
Hmm.
interests me. And he also did a version of the Dostoevsky doppelganger film, didn't he? Partner, I think it's called.
Okay, yeah, no, I haven't seen that. But yeah, no, I would be very interested in at some point
Yeah,
doing
and
all.
even rewatching, for instance, I didn't much. I was expecting to really like Gospel according to Saint Matthew, but that didn't
Mm.
really grab me. Um,
Yeah, yeah, no.
Arabian Nights, I admire more than I enjoy, but still an extraordinary
Yeah.
film. Yeah, and obviously some people there's that
Terrorama, I remember liking.
there's an Abel Ferrara film, right, in which Willem Dafoe plays Pasolini.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's just called Pasolini. And
Pasolini.
then there's the documentaries all about like his weird death at the
Yes.
and
Yeah.
all. So
Yes.
fascinating.
Hmm.
Again, something to get into, I think. But anyway, back to Medea. So, well, speaking of giants of art house cinema as well, though, so this is specifically based on a unproduced screenplay by
Okay.
none other than Carl Theodor Dreyer.
Okay. Actually, remind me who that is. I
Well, I
say
suppose,
it, but I
well,
know who that is.
again, a bit of a blind spot for me as well. I realize I need to see more of his stuff, but two of his films that I
Okay.
do really like are Vampire, the 1932
Oh,
film,
okay. Right.
and The Passion of Joan of Arc,
Okay. Which I've
which
never
is
seen.
fucking amazing.
Okay.
Fucking amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, see it. Anyway, so yeah, so this is based on an produced script by him. Um and it's kind of slightly relocated. So obviously the original is set to, so the story of Medea, so it's a apparently there was originally a trilogy of these Medea plays by Euripides, and this is the only surviving one, right? Apparently,
Okay.
it's the middle one.
Okay.
So I don't know what the others. I'm not sure. So Medea also turns up in the Jason and the
Fair
Argonauts.
enough. Yeah, yeah. So Jason takes her away from
Yes.
yeah, yeah, and then
Yeah.
he betrays her basically,
Well,
and then she
yeah,
goes
so this
mad.
is the post Jason
Right.
story
You know how
where,
Jason's story ends, like how his story ends. It's fucking fantastic. Have we talked
yes,
about this before? Yeah, I
no, we
love.
haven't, but yeah, it's
Okay.
interesting when he's King Jason, right? And
Yeah, but eventually he reaches this point where he just goes out every day and sits under the prow of the Argo, which is rotting in the sand, and just
right,
laments all the bad choices he made in his life until eventually that big thing at the front
right,
breaks
right,
off and falls and crushes
right.
him. Such a
And this is a hidden piece of the puzzle why he might be like that, right? So
yeah.
so yeah, so in this version they've gone from Colchis, I can't remember how you pronounce it. So this is in so they it's Corinth, right? So Jason post fleece nonsense
Yep.
is now in Corinth, and he's left Medea and his two sons, and he's
Right.
now hooked up with Glauce, who is the daughter of King Crayon,
Hmm.
who invented the crayon
Crayon, yeah,
of Corinth.
yeah.
And yeah, so basically Medea is a woman spurned,
Hmm.
right? And basically, you know, commits herself to vengeance via like a poisoned crown and all this stuff. I mean, I'll leave
Hmm.
it for yourself to see it, and
Okay.
you probably know the story anyway. It's a very famous myth. But yeah, so in this version, who do
Hmm.
you think plays Jason then?
Oh, Udo?
Yep.
Okay.
So there
Nice.
you go. Got you on the hook
Mm.
already, right?
Hmm.
Medea is played by one Kirsten Olsen, who is fantastic. But yes, so this was made for TV. I'm not sure how it was. It's so unfortunately the only version you can see now is very poor quality. Like it's not good quality at all. But so it's difficult to tell. But I'm guessing I don't know if it's shot on. I don't think it's shot on film. I think it must be shot on. Doesn't quite look like video. I think it's made for TV. I'm wondering if it's shot on like TV cameras, but those are quite big and unwieldy things.
Yeah.
And this is all shot on locations. Amazing location. So it's been relocated from the Mediterranean to, I guess, somewhere Scandinavian, and
Hmm.
it's wet. It's the wettest film I've ever seen in my life. Everything is wet, and it's all marshlands and like
Okay.
underground, like real cavern locations, and it looks fucking amazing. I mean, looks. I mean, it would if you could see it
Okay. I'm gonna
properly.
grab it right now.
Oh
Um,
no, don't! I'll send it to you.
oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
yeah. Um,
Um,
it
does yours
is.
have burnt in Spanish subtitles? Is it the same version I'm wondering that's up at
No,
where to
mine
go?
had English subtitles only.
Hmm.
I mean, I
Interesting.
don't know if the quality of yours is better. Is there Spanish Blu-ray or something? I don't think, as far as I know,
No,
I've
it's not a
searched.
Blu-ray. It definitely still looks a bit kind of
Yeah, no, I don't think there is
off
a good
and
version,
yeah,
unfortunately, which is kind of right considering it's Lars von Trier as well, right?
weird. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe the elements there, I don't know, something to do with it being made for television or something, I don't know. But it's potentially looks amazing. It still looks extra, like it's one of
Yeah.
those films that just the look, the world, I love it. I really love the visuals
Okay.
as is, and it's an extremely well told story as well. But it's just, yeah, I can't tell because the thing with Lars von Trier as well is so he does that thing. I don't really have I'm not good at articulating this stuff,
Mhm.
which is a shame considering I'm kind of a film critic. But
Film critic.
but he does that thing about like it's pure visual poetry,
Hmm.
you know, even more than usual with, and he does that thing. He's famous for doing, you know, with films of is it Zentropa and stuff. There's the rear projection and
Right.
stuff. So there's a lot of that being used, but also the sound. There's like scenes where they've gone to the trouble of making something authentic, but then the sound is very obviously it's outdoor location, but it's very obvious indoor sound, and it's not a
Right.
mistake. Like it's
Hmm.
clearly a choice, but
Intentional,
it's
yeah.
just utterly absorbing, mesmer. It's an amazing. It's only 76 minutes as well.
Okay.
But I fucking love this. It might be one of my favorite Lars von Trier films. I was quite surprised. Sorry, I shouldn't oversell it really because I was coming in cold. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and it is a cold, wet film.
Right.
Which is. But the other thing as well, it also foreshadows. So the other thing I have always appreciated Lars von Trier for is when he did the Kingdom
Hmm.
miniseries. I think he was one of the first people, and with the Idiots as well, maybe he was the first like person to turn that shot on video aesthetic into something like genuinely kind of
Good.
poetic, and yeah,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
he kind of somehow he understood how to use it,
Yeah.
and so there's a bit of that here. It feels like it's somewhere weirdly between that Zentropa kind of look and Kingdom. So
Right.
it's a fascinating little cinematic space, and yeah, no, it's really, really good. I mean, really good.
What is the year again?
88.
88. Okay, so that's interesting. It's hard. I don't even really think of Lars von Trier that early. Like, I mean, I
Well,
only
yeah,
became
he
aware
would have
of
done
him,
Element of Crime and stuff in 84, and
right?
yeah, so he was
But I think
around.
his
But
cachet
yes, I know what you
in
mean.
North America or like around the world wasn't necessarily
Right.
established
Yes.
yet.
Yes. Maybe like
Um,
a year to yeah. So, but it's definitely been overlooked, and it's definitely one in need of restoration, if such a thing is
mm.
remarkable. Udo's great in it. What's her name? Kristen Olsen's also great. Just yeah,
How are the Harryhausen animations? Are they
poor, to be
uh
honest. Yeah.
okay? All
Yeah.
right. That's too bad.
That's the one side that lets it down.
I'm thinking I might do them back to back because
That would be a fascinating double bill. Yeah.
I'm a
And
huge
then
fan of
well, I'm just wondering,
very much.
there must be a cinematic adaptation of that final part of the Jason trilogy as well, right? So that would make for a watch Jason and the
Mhm.
Argonauts, watch Lazarus Medea, or Pasolini's. I don't know, I haven't seen Pasolini's one, but I'm keen to now. And
Yes.
then whoever I have a feeling there must someone's must have done there must be like at least some like it might be even like a brilliant Hungarian made for TV movie with chroma
Yes.
key like
Yes.
Gilgamesh, and it's
Yes.
actually the best of all of
That's the
these.
one. Yes.
Uh,
Like fucking Gilgamesh.
yeah, who'd have thought? Like, who'd have like that? That's another one. Like, we forget, right? Because but fuck, what a find that was! What a find
Yes.
that was!
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
go back
Truly.
and listen to that episode and watch that Gilgamesh. That's just
Yeah.
extraordinary. I still need to find the other. Uh, I think it was also Hungarian. Was it the TV series Gilgamesh?
Yes. Yeah.
But anyway, Medea, brilliant.
Okay.
Udo Kier, I mean, rest in fucking peace, man. Or no, don't come back as
Yes,
Dracula
please.
with your
Please.
virgin's blood.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
We should mention that as well, actually, before because we're talking about these other films and we didn't want to go to the obvious ones. But actually, one of non-traditional, but in a way up there with Christopher Lee in a way, kind of one of the best screen
Dracula's?
Draculas.
No question. Yeah, absolutely.
A very different take on the character, but a compelling one for sure.
Mm. Oh yeah, yeah. No. And it's funny, I was when I was watching we were just watching the trailer, as I said, with my wife, and she was because she's a huge fan of Peter Lorre. Jen
Okay.
loves Peter Lorre, and she could see there is some sort of I don't know what it is, but there's something there, right? Like when he's kind of when he's at his most when Udo is at his most kind of like sweaty and frenetic
Yeah.
in those scenes, she was like, "Oh yeah, I definitely get that vibe of." Um,
Well, if she hasn't already read it, she may want to join our book club when we do get round to doing um, Laurie's autobiography, The Lost One,
oh yes, yes,
and then
that's
we
a
can
great
watch the
idea.
film as well.
That's a great idea. Yeah, and I'm always happy to go back and watch some of his stuff as well. Anyway,
Have you
that's a
seen that,
couple of
The Lost
years.
One, or read the book?
No,
No.
no,
Okay. I
no.
think I have a copy already, so we'll definitely do that at some
Yeah.
point.
All
Anyway,
right.
yeah. Cheers, Udo, for
Yep.
all the good work. I mean, it's no, it really is a. I mean, we didn't even, in a way, we finished it. So I was thinking about throwing in some later, more recent credits because he was
Mhm.
working up until the end. The one, for instance, in recent years that's got really good reviews, I haven't got around to seeing yet. Have you seen that film Bacurau?
Is that the one where he plays a hairdresser?
I
There's
don't
one
know.
where there's one that where he plays a hairdresser that came out within the last years that apparently is supposed to be
Okay.
excellent.
The Bacurau one, which is from somewhere in South America, I can't remember where. Is it a Chilean or Argentinian film or something like that? But the reason I didn't pick that, it was just because I got the feeling that I don't know if he's in it much. Like it
Right.
might have been like a little bit of because he did do obviously because he's so potent, he
Right.
he did do a lot of like bit parts and guest star roles, and he's very good at that, right? Like he's very
Yeah.
good at, I mean, coming in and just
Yeah.
stealing the film and then running away
Yes.
again. Um,
Yeah. Um,
so I didn't choose anything because I wasn't quite sure what to go for that was actually him front and center in a way. Even though some of these weren't. But anyway, a nice little selection. And
hmm.
if by some miracle you've managed to avoid Udo thus far, I hope this proves as a little taster and go
Hmm.
forth and see, yeah, see all the classics. See, yeah, no, he's always, yeah, yeah. What a guy. What a guy.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I have nothing to add to that.
No,
A salute
yeah.
and beautiful, beautiful man. And as you said, at both ends of his life, I think
Oh,
as a young
I was
and also at
at
both
both
ends, to be
ends.
honest.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
probably. I'm sure it was beautifully bleached.